Morning, everybody. That's right, Jay Yandel. Here we go.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. It's the first Tuesday in August. Hope your week got off to a great start. The magic numbers are 18, 23, and 30. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Go to millerandmoulton.com, sign up for that Fantasy Football Summit. It's a week from tonight. Miller and Moulton will be there. Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm good. I get to see you in a week. It's been a while.
What, January? Early February?
I have no idea. It's been a while.
Yeah, I was in town to broadcast the Jacksonville
right.
FGCU game.
That's right.
I think it was January. Late. I don't know. I could look it up. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been about 7 months or so. Of course, the funny thing is we see each other every day here on this, technology thing.
It's on a screen.
Right.
Like a Jetsons call, for crying out loud.
Of course, the funny thing is, we know everything about each other. So you'll see each other in person. We'll shake hands and there'll be this pause and one of us will go, so.
Right. And then we'll wait for guests to get there so we have someone to talk to.
By the way, we got a full show today. I was not planning on us to have this many guests today. I was trying, it's an awkward time. People are busy and, usually this time of year, the answer is no when you're trying to get a football person. I'm unavailable, this, that, and the other thing. So between today's show and tomorrow's show, I was hoping, a couple today, couple tomorrow. I thought that'd be the best we could do. Next thing you know, everybody today is like, yeah, I could do Tuesday. Oh, okay.
We'll pack you in. We're ready.
We're jam-packed today. Yeah. Little Dolphins, little Bears, little college football, even a little college basketball. Big news yesterday in the sport.
What a great day yesterday was. No, I'm serious. Do you know anybody that wanted this tournament expanded?
Well, not a fan. I don't know of a single fan and I know only one member of the media, Seth
Right.
Davis.
Seth Davis wants it expanded. No one else did.
No, the only people that
from Riggs at Barstool that comes on our show, and I don't want to say he's the low end, but from Riggs at Barstool to Jay Billis and everyone in between, nobody wanted this tournament expanded.
No. And so it's staying at 68. And you know who I feel really good for? The field of 68. I mean, they've got stuff printed out. They've worked hard for a few years now to, establish themselves. People in the sport are very familiar with the field of 68. They do a tremendous job on literally a daily basis covering college basketball year round. All right. And of course, they'll have to change their damn name.
Well, and the website, that's the hard part. I mean, someone could have already filed for Field of 72 and then they don't get it.
Right. Okay. Never mind, T-shirts and mugs and stuff like that. I don't even know if they have that sort of thing.
T-shirts. You and the T-shirts and the mugs.
My wife is always walking around with a coffee mug. I think that's why the mugs are in my head, because I don't drink coffee. I don't know if I've ever used a mug in my life.
Maybe a hot chocolate one time.
Okay, you're probably right. Maybe in my teens. Okay, last time I had a mug in my hand. But my wife is always walking around with a mug.
But the same one, right?
Well, no.
Oh, see, I mean, my wife has one. I have one. There are others. There are backups, if you will. But it's one of my pet peeves because I'm the person in the house. The kitchen is my domain. I cook everything and I clean everything.
Right.
And, the wife's great. She's got a cup she uses for water, for work. She's got her travel water bottle. She's got a water cup at home. That's it. I've got a water cup, right here that I have with me at work every day that I use in the car. I use at home. I have my coffee mug. I have my coffee travel cup. My daughter will use 74 cups in a day.
My wife is your daughter. Yes.
Drives me nuts.
By the way, just, married moment here, and then we really will get on to the show. But since my wife uses so many mugs, I have decided, because between friends, including your wife, I have not one, not two, but three of these New York Rangers. What are they called again?
Tervis. They're out of they went out of business. Tervis tumblers. They went down for the count. Didn't change with the times. The Yetis took them out.
Well, I've got 3 New York Rangers Tervises. All right. And I now am using a Tervis per room.
Okay.
Just to make my point about her with the mugs. I've got the Tervis in my bedroom. I got the Tervis for the kitchen counter, and I got the Tervis in the living room right where I sit. Okay. I've got my spot. Okay. And so there it is.
So that's your passive aggressive answer to her sending an edible arrangement.
Totally. And I just say to her, she goes, "Do you want some water?" And I'll go, "Well, what room am I going to be in?" And she just looks at me and I go, "Well, since I'm going to be in this room, here, use this one."
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, good God. To quote your wife.
Yep. But anyway, hope your week got off to a good start, and thanks for being with us on this Tuesday. See, an ode to you by throwing in 18. All right, before week 0, which is going to be.
I'm glad you did that, David, because I want to remind you. That game that you will not watch because it's week 0 features number 20 Kansas State against number 21 Iowa State.
Right.
It's a top 25 matchup.
Right. Yep.
In fact, they are, I believe, the second and third rated teams of that conference. Only Arizona State has a better ranking of any team in the Big 12, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and as we know, there is nothing that is more accurate than preseason rankings in college football.
You just poke holes in everything I've got. Just here, just like a damn pinata. Might as well take a stick to the head.
It's just too early for me. I mean, what is it? August 23rd? It just feels too early. That's all. It's just a calendar thing. Please, it's not a week 0 thing by name. I mean, how many teams are in the Big 10? Not 10. How many teams are in the Big 12? Not 12. I mean, I certainly can't hold week 0, okay, against it because of its name. All right? It's too early. I'm not ready for college football around my mother's birthday, around your birthday. Isn't that your birthday?
It is my birthday. And you know what I'm going to do on my birthday? I'm going to watch college football.
I feel as if literally it is a birthday gift for you. If I didn't know any better, I'd feel like, you know what? I guess the college football world really likes my co-host. Okay, they now want to start their season on or right around his birthday. Something he never had when he was growing up. Hell, when he was growing up, he had to wait 2 more weeks for a football game. Not now.
Well, I will say a couple of funny things. And you're right. Preseason polls don't mean a hill of beans, but they do. That's the only problem, is that you're right. They can be incredibly inaccurate. They can be misleading in a lot of different ways. Unfortunately, you and I have pointed out for a long time, David, that this poll done by the coaches
right, done by the assistant SIDs of the department that are in charge of most of the information that is passed forward publicly through the athletic department.
But these polls will be very reminiscent of what the committee's poll looks like when it comes out, whenever the hell they do their first one. End of October, I think they do it.
All right. Hold you to it.
Well, you know that's a fact, though. I mean, the AP and the coaches poll will look eerily similar to what the committee puts out mid-season. You and I have always been proponents of no polls until mid-October.
At the earliest, yes. Right around Columbus Day at the earliest. Because we just think that these polls create a bias. Right out of the chute, they create a bias. Well, so-and-so's good. Well, how do you know that? Well, they were preseason 18. Give me a break. That's why we bring out that AP stat, which does not apply to this poll because this was a coach's poll. But what's that AP stat? How many years now that somebody who's preseason top 10 will end up unranked? And obviously that team last year was Florida State.
But Miami ranked 10th in the coaches poll. The Gators ranked 17th. Which one of those two do you think is far too high in the rankings, David? Do you think either the Gators or the Canes are overrated based on the coaches' preseason poll?
I think that they're both slightly overrated. I think Florida should be in the 20s. I think the Canes should be in the teens.
And looking at, the teams between 11 and 15, I have a hard time switching out much because I'm not that high on, Illinois is going to have a nice team. Maybe South Carolina should be ranked a little higher than Miami based on their quarterback, but we shall see. But the coaches poll out yesterday, as I saw on a post on X, it was really nice of these coaches to take a couple of days away from their camp and their team so they could really digest what's going on around the rest of the college football world,
right,
to get these polls out for us. We absolutely appreciate it. As David said, we've got a great show lined up for you today. Chris Perkins to talk some Dolphins. Ciancia We'll talk some college football. Scott Lewis to talk the Bears, and Mike Miller to talk college hoop. Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
All right, I've got several poll question ideas for us today.
Okay.
One, I've already got one ready to fire. It's National Oyster Day. So how do you like your oysters? Raw, grilled/baked, fried, none. They look like snot.
Okay.
I have to have one that you can fill out there because I know you don't do oysters.
Not really.
2, not that it'll ever happen, but with the field staying at 68, which league should contract? Or since the tourney is not expanding, which were the worst moves made by a league? And I don't know what the answers for those are. I just was kind of firing some questions about the 10 o'clock last night.
You did not, DC. No.
Yep. Yeah, we have a whole line out.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. The starting five at a little more than 15 minutes time here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. A lot of football talk today. Chris Perkins and Scott Lewis to talk the Dolphins and the Bears. Brett Ciancia to talk college football. And Mike Miller from the Field of 68 in our bonus hour. We touched upon it in the open. It will remain the Field of 68, at least for the coming season.
Quick correction. Tervis filed for bankruptcy. They did not go out of business. They've actually come out of bankruptcy. They're still there. I didn't realize that. My apologies to the great people at Tervis. I have many in my cupboard.
Way to go, Tervis. All right. Keep grinding.
Just like Miller and Moulton.
Right. We understand the whole,
Maybe we should get a Miller and Moulton Tervis.
Listen, I'm not doing this to pick on this team. I don't dislike this team. I don't. I mean, yes, I grew up a Mets fan, but the Mets were terrible when I was growing up. And so I admired the Yankees. And then when I wanted to be a sportscaster and I, researched their history, how could you not be impressed? I mean, you could argue they're the greatest franchise in the history of North American sports. I don't know how you argue anybody else. For as much as the Lakers and the Celtics, the Canadians, okay, pick your NFL team. Honestly, I don't know how you argue that there's been a better franchise in North American sports over the last 100 years than the Yankees. They're remarkable. But, I mean, for goodness sakes, they haven't had a losing season since, Bush 41 was handing the baton over to Clinton. That was a while ago. So, Mark, this is when you know things are going badly. So the Yankees had a one-run lead in the ninth. We all know they were just coming off getting swept in Miami. Yankees needed a win. Not only that, they started their ace last night, Max Fried. Okay? And they're getting Judge back today. So it'd be like, okay, we can, turn this thing around, go into Texas, beat a good team we're battling with for the playoffs. win when we send our ace to the hill, which is what you're supposed to do. And then we get Judge back tomorrow, and we'll get right back on the horse.
Right. Exactly.
2 outs, nobody on, bottom of the 9th. Bochy, in an act of desperation, sends Jock Peterson to the plate. Jock Peterson was hitting a $126 on the season. He had missed almost 2 months of the season with a broken hand. But trust me, his batting average was right around a $126 before he went on the injured list, and it's remained a $126 since coming off the injured list. Jock Peterson had not homered in 3 months. The Yankees closer gives up a tying homer to Jock Peterson, hitting a $126 with 2 homers and 6 RBIs on the season. It's August. 8 extra base hits for the season. Gives up the tying homer. And then, of course, in the 10th inning, they give up a walk-off 3-run homer, and they lose. That's when you know, maybe this is a thing. Can I reiterate a $126?
$126. Put it this way, when you go 1 for 1 and your batting average climbs 6 points,
right,
it was not going that well before.
Right.
And now the Yankees are tied with the Mariners in the 5-6 hole of the wild card with those Texas Rangers staring them down just a game and a half back.
Yep.
Hell, the Guardians are just 2.5 back of the Yanks.
Yep. Jock Peterson, a $27 million mistake by the Rangers. By the way, how do you feel that you get pinch hit for by Jock Peterson? Not only that, the guy who got pinch hit for had 2 hits in the game. But, he bats right-handed, and he got the hits off free to lefty. So, of course, it's the 9th inning, and a righty's on the hill. So, we put the lefty at the plate. But, when you're walking to the dugout, you look at Bochy and you go, I have almost as many hits tonight as he has all year. How much do I suck? Do you hate me? You pinch hit for me for him?
I got a feeling. That's all I'm telling you. Okay, Skip, you better have a feeling.
I know I'm hitting a $173 on the season. I'm hitting 47 points higher than the guy you just sent to the plate. How much do you hate me? Yep. Homers. If I'm a Yankee fan, that's one of those deals. That ball goes out of the park, you just turn the TV off. You're losing in extras. Okay, just go to bed and then talk amongst yourselves as to the next time you put the TV on.
Well, and that's after, obviously, they got swept by the Marlins, but that game on Friday night.
Right.
So in the last 4 games, they blew the 5-0 lead, I believe it was, against the Marlins on Friday night to lose 13-12, 12-11, whatever the hell that was.
6-0, 9-4, 12-10 in the 9th.
Right.
Those leads. Right. With the newly acquired bullpen, nothing but solid arms. By the way, okay, sure enough, who gives up the 3-run homer in the 10th? One of those newly acquired bullpen arms. So far, Cashman has had more Tums in the last 4 days than he's had in the last 4 months. Because he thought he did everything right. In fact, all of the baseball writers praised what the Yankees did at the deadline. So we're not here to knock the moves that they made, because on all accounts, they went out and acquired what they needed to acquire. Right.
And you can't even see, here's the other side of it, David. This isn't the old, I can't pitch in New York, I'm too nervous to pitch in the big city. These guys have blown it in Miami and Arlington, for crying out loud. They
Right?
haven't even gotten to the Bronx yet where they're going to get ridiculed by the fans.
I mean, heck, that Yankees bullpen had more people rooting for them in Miami than against them.
So the
Oh.
Yanks go down in 10, watching their lead in the wild card shrink to almost nothing with the Rangers on their heels, while the Red Sox can't lose.
$1.26.
Yeah.
Hadn't homered in 3 months. Hell, I don't know if he'd homered in batting practice in 2.
I don't know if he'd taken batting practice in 2.
Unbelievable. Yep. That's when you know, this really might not be our year. Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. So, interesting night in baseball. That's for certain. The Marlins watched their little winning streak fall apart as the Astros were all over them from the word go. 5-run fourth, and they take down the Marlins 8-2. And that puts pressure on the Marlins. We talked about it yesterday. They got to 500. How are they going to react? Do they come back today and get a W and try to salvage this series? But yes, the Yankees losing on a Jock Peterson game-tying home run in the 9th. And as David said, he was hitting $1.26 coming into the game.
Boy, that post-game spread. I mean, don't you as a manager, don't you have to go in, you got to flip that sucker over? Nobody eats tonight. You guys suck. I'm tired of this crap. Go spend your own damn money, not ours. Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh yeah.
This is Miller and Moulton.
No, I mean, Virtue, when the Marlins go 30-14 over 44, I can't really say it was the Yankees collapsing there. I mean, the Marlins been playing great baseball. By the way, we sold a few more tickets for the fantasy event. We're at 51.
Oh, okay, great.
Hard Knocks premieres tonight.
Yes, it does. I've got it in the starting 5, unless you want me to lose it.
No, that's fine. Just bringing it up. Not a lot to report on today, huh?
No, actually,
Hard Knocks
actually,
making the list.
Actually, I'm packed. I got things written in the margins. I got arrows. You're right, EB. And not only that, they didn't experience the real George. 70s, 80s George. He was a different guy when he came back from that suspension.
So it looks like Teddy Bridgewater's coming back to the Lions. Is that what I'm seeing?
Oh, hell. I'm surprised we didn't get called in for workouts.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. Chris Perkins will join us 1 hour from now. We'll talk a little Dolphins here on Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Got a lot to get to, believe it or not, in the starting 5. You'll be surprised how much was out there yesterday. Time now for
The starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting 5.
We'll start with baseball. Let's play the over-under game, Mark. I don't know if you looked. Over-under 12,500 at Lone Depot Park for the Marlins, fresh off a 5-game winning streak with Alcantara on the mound hosting the Astros.
Oh, it's a Monday, and I did not look, David. I set the over-under much higher yesterday, and you mocked me. I'm going to go over 12-5.
10-8-27.
Oh, my goodness. And we thank you. Drive home safely.
Astros with 5 in the fourth snap the Marlins winning streak, 8-2 Houston. Their lead is now 3 over the Mariners in the West. Meanwhile, the Phillies extend their lead in the East. Kyle Schwarber with 2 bombs. He's got 40 on the year. Not bad in a walk year. Phillies with 8 in the 6th. Schwarber, one of those homers to salami. He had 6 RBIs. Phillies over the Orioles 13-3. They lead the Mets now by a game and a half, 2 in the loss column. Mets blew it last night. Tie game in the 9th, bases loaded. They couldn't score with 1 out. Then a throwing error in the 10th allowed 2 runs to score. Guardians hold off the Mets 7, 6, and 10. Cleveland just 2.5 back in the wild card race. Meanwhile, those Brewers, they've won 7 of 8. They are 46 and 19 in their last 65. That's over 700 baseball, by the way. 3-1 over the Braves. Isaac Collins with a 3-run homer, the difference. And they pick up a game on the Cubs because the Cubs were held to 3 hits by the Reds, and since he beat them 3-2, Cubbies now 3 back of the Brewers. And remember one of the starters they just acquired, Mike Soroka, at the deadline? Yeah, first start last night. Yep, shoulder problem on the injured list. When you're a pitcher and your shoulder or your pitching elbow are bothering you, that's not a good thing, just in case you're new to baseball. Cardinals with a run of the ninth beat the Dodgers 3-2, but the Dodgers lead remains at 3 because the Padres lost in Arizona 6-2. San Diego 3 up on the Reds for the final playoff spot in the National League. The Rays are 5-12 since the All-Star break. Mark, there are 5 teams in between them and the playoffs. They're 5.5 back. Should we give the Rays a rest? They're also below the Mendoza line.
I don't know how you can think anything else. I mean, the Rays have surprised us many times, so it's tough to count them out because just when you throw them on the trash heap, they'll go on a winning streak. But this team, from the All-Star break on, they don't look like they have much, David.
Toronto, their lead is 3 in the East. They bombed Colorado and Denver 15-1. Bo Bichette with 2 homers. And the reason the Jays' lead is only 3 is because the Red Sox are never going to lose again. Well, they've won 6 in a row and 8 of 9. A 5-run first helped them hold off the Royals 8-5. Kansas City 4 back in the wild card. We talked about Texas's dramatic 8-5 10-inning win over the Yanks. Jock Peterson hitting a $126, homered to tie it in the 9th with 2 outs. And then Josh Jung with a 3-run walk-off in the 10th for Texas, who's just a game and a half behind both Seattle and the Yankees for the final playoff spots in the American League. Detroit with a 3-run 6th. Both the Twins and Tigers hit 3 homers. Detroit won at 6-3. Their lead in the Central is 8. And the Pirates, Mark, the Giants bullpen did it to Verlander again. He left with a 4-1 lead. Pittsburgh with 2 in the 9th to win it 5-4. Verlander stuck at 1 win on the season. The Giants bullpen has cost him 4 wins on this season. And now he has not pitched great, but what's his record? Like 1-8?
1-8. It should be like it should be at least 5-8, 4-8, right?
Yeah. By the way, for the Yankees, Aaron Judge returns today. The Yankees went 4-6 during his absence. By the way, the Yankees in their last 58 games are 25-33. 25-33 in their last 58. Wow. NFL news now. Mark, the Browns signed Bernie Kosar. Gary Danielson. Hold on, it was Tim Couch. Maybe it was Johnny Manziel. No, Tyler Huntley is actually who they're bringing in.
Right, just so they have enough quarterbacks at camp right now because
Right.
none of the other ones can stay healthy.
Pickett and Gabriel are nursing hamstring injuries. Shadur Sanders is sitting out with a sore throwing shoulder. So Tyler Huntley, who today will be the backup to Flacco at training camp practice. Unbelievable. The Bills, running back James Cook, he had a sit-in again yesterday. He was barely seen publicly yesterday. That's day 2 of his sit-in, or as he calls it, business. Speaking of the Bills, they're on Hard Knocks, and Hard Knocks is tonight. First one on HBO Max.
Oh, I'll have them winning the Super Bowl inside of 2 weeks of watching this. You know what this show does to me.
Oh, I know.
It is.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, my goodness. I will just be sitting there with a hook out of my mouth, just lying on the couch being dragged around.
But at least you admit it, and that's the first step.
I love that show.
Yes, you do. Vikings announced that their starting quarterback, J.J. McCarthy, will play this Saturday in their preseason opener against Houston, and here's why. Because they said it is unlikely he's going to play in their second preseason game against the Patriots, because leading up to that game, the Vikings and Patriots are going to have 2 joint practices. So they said, we're not going to play him in the game. We're going to work him hard in the practice. What is significant is that, remember, McCarthy got hurt in the first preseason game last year, and we haven't seen him since. The 49ers have so many injuries.
How many injuries?
They have so many injuries, Mark, that they needed the roster spot. So they had to decide who was going to win their kicking battle without either guy kicking in a preseason game, because they need the roster spot so badly. They have 16 of their 90 players who can't practice. So they cut veteran kicker Greg Joseph. They're staying with the Michigan kid, Jake Moody, who was amazing in college and has been not good in the NFL. There was a trade yesterday. Man, I hope the Raiders originated this, because if the Eagles called me about a trade, I don't think I'd answer the phone. But the Raiders sent cornerback Jacorian Bennett to Philly because they needed defensive lineman, and they get defensive tackle Thomas Booker back. The Chargers, linebacker Denzel Perryman, he was released from police custody yesterday, and he will not face felony weapons charges, even though they found 5 guns in his car, 2 of them AKs. Harbaugh, by the way, visited him in jail Saturday. Said he's a great guy, loving family. Okay, he didn't do anything wrong. And he's our starter, an inside linebacker. We'll see if the NFL has anything to say about that. College football preseason coaches top 25 poll released. Mark, I couldn't find the answer to this. I'd love to know it. How long has the coaches preseason top 25 been in existence? And I asked that question because Texas was voted number 1 in the coaches preseason poll. They say for the first time ever. Huh. That's interesting. Ohio State was voted number 2. So how about that? Fox's season opener is 1 versus 2. Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame round out the top 5. 9 SEC schools in the top 25, 6 Big 10, 5 Big 12, 3 ACC, and then Notre Dame and Boise State fill out the top 25. As Mark mentioned previously, Miami in the coaches poll is preseason 10. The Gators are preseason 17. The AP poll comes out Monday. College hoops will stay at 68 for at least another year.
All right.
Got that right.
All right.
Men's and women's NCAA tournaments will not expand. However, the talking will continue. I got to admit, supposedly the people running college basketball want this. How could they not get it? No coach is going to vote against it. All right, seriously, how could they not get it? I mean, I want to know: is this CBS and Turner going? This doesn't work for us. We ain't going to give any more money.
Turner doesn't want more games on True TV Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, this seems to work for them. It's a great point that you make. The TV stations or networks you would think want it. We know the college basketball coaches want it. So really, the public, the boosters getting on ADs. I mean, how did this get stopped?
Right. I want to know. This seems like something that could be done in between breakfast and lunch. So, I mean, I'm thrilled, but anyway. NBA, De'Aaron Fox, who doesn't turn 28 until right around Christmas. He signed a 4-year max extension with the Spurs yesterday. De'Aaron Fox is going to be making $55.8 million a year. De'Aaron Fox, I mean, good player, but pump the brakes. He signed with the Spurs through 2030. Okay, the ratings are in. Remember I said there'd be $8 million for the Hall of Fame game? And then I went, yeah, that's probably $1 million too much. So we lowered it back down to $7 million. And last year's Hall of Fame game had done 6.3. Yeah, ratings up 10%. 6.9 million for the Chargers and Lions. We'll say baseball all-star game beat NFL Hall of Fame game by 300,000 viewers. But 7 million.
Right. So the best players in one sport
against a bunch of guys.
Players that the sport has to offer.
Right.
Beat truck drivers and mailmen by 300,000.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And finally, his name is Robert Fleming, and none of us know who he was. He was the man largely responsible for hiring Herb Brooks as the head coach of the U.S. men's hockey team in 1979. Robert Fleming passed away late last week at the age of 97. A remarkable life. He's in the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame because he's part of the 1980 team. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. He also spent 40 years at, what's the big cancer center there in Minneapolis? Don't know why the name escapes. Mayo Clinic. Yeah. He donated, by the way, his gold medal and Olympic rings to the Mayo Clinic so that when you walk in, you can actually see it. It's on display. Robert Fleming, thank you, sir. 97 years of age. And at 8 minutes before the hour, that was the starting five. 5 big stories, and Brian Sipe back with the Browns. Well, not exactly, but
not far off.
No, here on Miller and Moulton. Of course, remember, Mark, that's former Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley. Remember? He was the one who threw 2 touchdown passes, filling in for Lamar Jackson in 8 games, and so many quarterbacks opted out of the Pro Bowl that Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowl quarterback with 2 touchdown passes.
Miller and Moulton. We had 2 poll questions yesterday. We have 1 up already today. We will probably add some sort of a sports question once Miller and Moulton figure it out during the break. But yesterday on National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, 71% of you prefer your cookie soft as opposed to crispy. And if you could only go to 1 game, week 1 of the college football season, 46% said number 1 Texas against number 2 Ohio State. Notre Dame and Miami came in second with 29% of the vote, and LSU Clemson with a little more than 25% of the vote. Today is National Oyster Day, David, so we have a question pertaining to the wonderful, wonderful oysters. I know how much you love them. Another sports poll question on the other side.
It's time again for the Miller and Moulton Fantasy Football Summit featuring Dr. Roto, Tuesday, August 12th, Shula Show Sports Cafe inside the Doubletree Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. You get dinner and the expertise of one of the best fantasy players in the country, and Doc Roto will even give you a cheat sheet for your fantasy draft on your way out the door. Sign up at millerandmoulton.com. Tuesday, August 12th is our Fantasy Football Summit. Dr. Roto and you. It's a fun night, and we help you win your fantasy football.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Did you see the front cover of the New York Post? That's one of their 5 best.
That's some snark right
That's
there.
holy blank. Is that funny? Man, oh man. Funny is funny.
Yeah, well, and they're as good at it as anybody. And they just put that out. They don't ever put their covers out. I mean, I don't ever see those posts. That's funny. All right. What do you got for a sports poll question?
Will the Yankees miss the playoffs? Hold on here.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this first Tuesday of August. Hope your week got off to a good start, and thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Go to millerandmoulton.com to download anything you missed. Have a hell of a show lined up for you. Chris Perkins to talk Dolphins in about 35 minutes. Brett Ciancia to talk college football. He's got a preview magazine that actually, in some places, grades out better than Phil Steele's. Scott Van Pelt and Josh Pate call it the best college football preseason magazine. He'll join us 1 hour from now. By the way, Phil Steele on Thursday, Pat Kerwin on Friday. Scott Lewis to talk Bears, just how bad is the offense. And Mike Miller 2 hours from now to talk the field of 68, which is remaining the field of 68. Thank you very much. Go to millerandmoulton.com, sign up for the Fantasy Football Summit. It's a week from tonight. Yeah. Dr. Roto, dinner, Miller and Moulton, lots of football talk. You? Dinner begins at 6. Event begins at 7. Shula Show Sports Cafe, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Week from
Looking
tonight.
forward to it. Looking forward to the summit.
Yep. Absolutely.
My son thought I was pranking him or punking him because he at one time signed up for our text line. Why? I don't know, but he did. So when I send out the mass texts
Right.
about the Fantasy Football Summit, he just kind of looked at it and thought I was doing that just to give him a hard time because he lives in North Carolina and can't attend the summit and gets very angry that I'm in a league with him and I get extra help. He's like, you already do a radio show. You really need extra help. And I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
Yeah. Just because we have a radio show doesn't mean we know what we're talking about. I mean, just means we've fooled a lot of people for a long time. Yeah, but this guy knows what he's talking about. Yeah. Miller and Moulton. Hey, we brought this up. And, when we did, we were being negative. You snarky blankety blanks, You guys are just too negative. And we said, I don't know. I mean, we can just do math, and it just doesn't seem to be adding up to us. Mark, after that preseason game that nearly 7 million people watched, and hell, we didn't even watch it. We just saw some of the highlights. Well, you watched parts of it. But, Mark, how's that Hendon Hooker experiment going in Detroit?
Not well, David.
Really? It's year 3.
Not well at all. In fact, it certainly seems, although nothing's been said yet, that there could be a new backup in town in Detroit in the very near future.
Why did they sign Danielson, Hipple, Scott Mitchell? Who did they bring in?
Really?
Yesterday?
You go Scott Mitchell? I was fine with Danielson and Hipple. Both gave us great moments, and there were bad moments. But I don't recall Scott Mitchell's best moment, I think, was against the Lions, and that's why they signed him.
He did take the Lions to the playoffs a couple times. Okay. I mean, he really did. He wasn't awful. It's just that he was hailed as the savior, and 9-7 is not a savior.
But Teddy Bridgewater yesterday told his team in Miami, the high school team that he coaches,
right,
who he's suspended from because he used money out of his own pocket to help the team out, and then had the gall to ask the boosters to say, hey, can you guys help this year? Because I came off my hip for a lot of money last year and could use a little help.
Right. And by admitting that on Facebook, that he came off the hip to purchase his stuff, that's a violation of FHSAA rules. And so he's suspended.
But he told his team at Miami Northwestern High School that he is leaving his job coaching to pursue a return to the NFL.
Huh. By
Dan
chance,
Campbell recently said that he and Bridgewater remain close and talk regularly.
Huh.
Geez, I wonder where Teddy's going to be by the end of the week. Hell, by the end of the day.
To review, Hendon Hooker was with the Lions the whole season last year. Teddy Bridgewater was not. He was coaching a high school team. After winning a state title, and after the Lions went 15-2, the Lions coaches had a meeting, and it was brought up, what if Jared Goff sprains an ankle? Are we okay with Hendon Hooker going into the game? At that moment, the Lions called Teddy Bridgewater and said, hey, are you doing anything? And Teddy Bridgewater was their backup quarterback for the playoffs last year, and actually got in the game and threw a pass. Not Hendon Hooker, who had been with the team for the last 2 years. Teddy Bridgewater, who hadn't thrown a pass in an NFL game in 2 years, and was helping lug equipment around on the field and get his players Uber rides and buy food for them. Then Hendon Hooker, along with the veteran that they brought in to compete with him, between the two of them, they threw like 4 interceptions against the Chargers backups. And so now the Lions are calling Teddy again and saying, listen, you want to make up some of that money that you lost last year buying food for your team? You want to be able to upgrade the food for your team. You could just funnel it to them.
I think Teddy should hold out for whatever team he signs with Detroit, so that it's not just a contract, that there's a provision in the contract that they have to make a donation to Miami Northwestern High School.
I agree.
I'm not even joking. I'd say, all right, I'm going to play for X,
Yep.
but you guys are going to make a payment because I left these kids high and dry, and I want to do one last thing for them, and you're going to pay for it.
I agree completely. We'll sign you for $1.2 million, and we're going to donate $500,000 to Miami Northwestern High School.
Bingo.
I like it. And Teddy can say the FHSAA, suspend me for the year. Okay, I deserve it.
but I'll be back next year. Maybe.
Right.
We'll see.
By the way, guys, can you put that in an interest-bearing account? I mean, and don't blow it all in 1 year, okay?
Cover your Ubers and pregame meals and a little therapy session for you.
So to review, Gary Danielson and Eric Hipple. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater back with the Lions. Brian Sipe, Bernie Kosar, Gary Danielson again. No, I mean Tyler Huntley. Okay, signing with the Browns. That's 5 quarterbacks in camp for the Browns. 3 of them are hurt. And actually, technically, it's 6 because Deshaun Watson's on the roster and he's hurt too.
There was a Cleveland radio, and it's not anybody we've had on the show, who last week, and I tried to find the story. I saw it last week, should have saved it, didn't, who really went off on the Browns saying they're doing Shedeur Sanders dirty. Like, he really believes that they're not doing anything to help him. And I don't know if they owe him anything to help him. But it is a really unusual situation there. Because, David, are they going to trade one of the rookies? Are they going to trade Pickett? Are they going to – do they really believe that they can try to slide one of these guys on their practice squad and have no one pick them up as their third?
Well, we've been asking Pat Kerwin seemingly on a weekly basis, and he says, I'm going to hide one of them on the injured list. Well, now I don't know if he's got to hide them. They've both missed time in camp, Gabriel and Sanders, with injuries.
How long you try to hide them the whole year on the injured list?
Well,
I mean,
once you put them on the injured list, that's it. I mean, there's a few players you can put on the list where they could return, but I doubt they're going to do that with either Dylan Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. You can just put them on the injured list. That's it. All right. You got to pay him. He counts against your cap. And then you don't have to worry about the 53 or 69-man roster. You're just paying him to be on the injured list. But think about how much this sucks for both those rookies. I mean, because imagine one of the 2 rookies, Mark, was healthy right now. The other's hurt. Pickett's hurt. It's a hamstring, especially as Shedeur Sanders, who's considered the 4th of the 4. No Deshaun Watson. Gabriel's got a hamstring problem, which is considered worse than Pickett's hamstring. Okay, Flacco doesn't want to be taking all these snaps. Okay, you know how many snaps Shedeur Sanders would be getting? Do you know how much playing time Shedeur Sanders would be getting this coming weekend in a preseason game? He might play 3 quarters. I mean, this is a bummer, to say the least. This is the difference probably between him making the team and not.
So 5 quarterbacks in camp, 2 that can play.
Right. And one of them's Tyler Huntley.
And the point you make about Flacco may be the most important one. The last thing they really need right now is Joe Flacco taking all of these snaps and practice in preseason.
Right.
They know exactly what he is. He's the one known. Everything else is a complete unknown.
Flacco's like, I'm 40. I'm not going to throw all that. Could we call, when I'm under center, can we run the ball? You want to work on the passing game? Bring in one of the kids. Bring in Tyler. Work on the passing game. Hell, put a red jersey on Deshaun Watson, for goodness sake. Okay, make sure nobody touches him. He could stand back here and throw the ball.
Miller and Moulton. We've got a poll question up, and it's specifically for David because I know how much he loves these.
Hate him.
It's National Oyster Day, so how do you like your oysters? Raw, grilled or baked, fried, or the final answer, none. They look like snot. I'm guessing that's what one David Moulton filled out. What would it take? Oysters or sushi? And not some of the cooked stuff I used to give you. A nice raw piece of fish or a nice raw oyster on a half shell. You had to eat one. What would it be?
I'd do oyster. I could just swallow it whole and probably do it.
I've got to watch you chew it.
Oh, come on. No, what all these rules? You're talking about all these rules. Now you're telling me how I have to eat it?
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Wine glasses never fall over until you get a brand new rug.
Oh no!
Ketchup bottles act normal till you're wearing a new shirt.
Oh, you kidding me?
And rocks slide peacefully on the road till the day you get a brand new windshield. Then they fly up off the road and attack without mercy. That's why new windshields from Glass Doctor come with our windshield protection plan. Unlimited repairs and one replacement for 12 months. Don't just fix it, protect it. Glass Doctor. A neighborly company.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So the Yankees announcer called Jock Peterson fat, basically. That's outstanding. That's funny. Michael, I asked yesterday, you weren't in here. I think you're still in here now. Have you been to Blossoms and Brie yet? It's next on my list. I've heard good things. How does the owner let what happen? Michael, you are the only one that thinks Shador can play in the NFL. You and the one announcer in Cleveland. And I think he can be fine. I think he throws I thought he threw the most catchable ball of the quarterbacks coming out. David, did you catch the Yankees announcer making comments about Jock Peterson's physique before he went yard?
Michael K?
I don't think it was Michael K. It didn't sound like Michael K.
No.
But basically,
called him fat?
Well, said his physique has certainly changed. Basically called him fat, and then he went yard.
Kyle Schwarber's not svelte. He's got 40. By the way, Kyle Schwarber's going to be a free agent. Now, he's going to re-sign in Philly, but the price keeps going up.
Does it ever? Does it ever?
Good for him.
Michael, but you keep saying he needs a chance. They have to earn a chance. If they're good enough, they earn it. He's hurt right now. So that's on him. I think so, Michael. That's what I was trying to figure out, but I've heard really good things about it. The menu looks spectacular. Forever. They do lunch, dinner, and then they have a brunch on the weekends, and all of them look really good. We got nothing for a sports question. Unless we put will the Yankees make the playoffs?
Well,
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Chris Perkins to join us in a little more than 15 minutes to talk what's been an eventful Dolphins training camp. Keeping track of the injuries and who's getting signed and who's getting put on the injured list or on the sidelines is eventful. Chris Perkins in a little more than 15 minutes time. It's a week from tonight, our Fantasy Football Summit. Shoeless Joe's, Sports Cafe, Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers, dinner, Dr. Roto, Miller and Moulton, you, and a whole bunch of football talk. Can't beat it. You'll get a cheat sheet. You get to take many notes as you want, ask as many questions as you want. Then you'll crush your fantasy football draft, and you'll have all those notes to keep next to you when you fill out your weekly roster and win your fantasy football league. It's our Fantasy Football Summit. Go to millerandmoulton.com and sign up. It is a week from tonight.
Time for the coolest thing I've seen today, and it's brought to you by our friends at Air Advantage. MyAirAdvantage.com, MyAirAdvantage.com. 18 months, no interest, no payments available. Call them today at 239-433-4635. That's 239-433-4635. And I missed this yesterday. This one's fun. We go to the WNBA for the coolest thing I've seen today.
Okay.
And I don't know if you caught this, David, but it was halftime entertainment of the blowout game between Las Vegas and the Minnesota Lynx. I think the Lynx won the game by like 53 on the road or whatever it was, and they set a record for the biggest road win in WNBA history or something like that. But that's insignificant compared to this, because they had a baby crawl for the halftime entertainment. Dads or moms have the babies. I think the dads have the babies at one end. Let the kids crawl down the court to mom. First baby wins, obviously. And while one baby jumped out to a sizable lead, the baby then did something that the baby had never done before. About halfway across the court, she started walking her first
Wow.
steps.
Wow.
Her first steps at the game, and then kind of, ran towards mom as the crowd went nuts with the baby winning the race by walking for the first time at the halftime of a WNBA game. And that is the coolest thing I've seen today.
Well, the
Dad
baby-
walked off with trophy in hand.
Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, it's an awesome moment. Okay. How unique is that? Your first steps were actually at a professional sporting event. We've got video of it. Thousands of people cheered you on, but it's a crawl. Okay. The baby should have been disqualified.
Oh my goodness.
What
My
did-
goodness.
I-
We've just had a Karen moment on this show. Miller and Karen.
Now, it's not like I'd be protesting if I was. No,
You just
I would. No,
I literally just said, how do you count that? Are you
Well, how
one
do
of the
you
most
count it?
heartwarming stories I've ever
It
done on
is.
this show, and you immediately kick it to the curb and
No,
want it dismissed.
that's not what I said at all. I said it's a great story. I said, how cool is it that your child took its first steps, okay, at a professional sporting event in front of thousands who were cheering you on? There are very few people ever who had that moment, okay? I believe it does disqualify you from the baby crawl, though. Could be wrong. Okay, that's all. I mean, it's a baby crawl. I mean, what are you getting? A free T-shirt? Okay, here's your Las Vegas Aces mug or whatever. I mean, who cares? Okay, I'd be laughing. I'd be thinking it was cool. Okay,
Anybody else seen David in this moment grabbing the trophy from the other dad?
No, not at all. I
No,
don't care about any of that crap.
Basically saying,
No.
you're my juice boy, and having an out-of-body experience on the court, because that's all I'm picturing right now.
I will say, would love to see the outtakes of Will Ferrell, Mike Ditka with Juicebox Boy. Okay, I really would love to see those outtakes. But I mean, what did you describe it? It's a baby crawl race. Okay, one of the kids midway through the race got up, started walking. Isn't that like, okay, it's a walking race, and midway through it, one of the contestants starts running? I mean, don't get me wrong, that's awesome that you could run. You've never run before. Congratulations. Okay? Take pictures, people cheering. Okay? I
Texters
believe
are up in arms or completely with David. Texters, oh my God, did David really go there? Texter, oh, come on. Should have got extra bonus points for being the first to walk. I agree. Baby should have been disqualified. The memory is the win, but not the contest.
right.
Another just said poll question, disqualified for walking in a baby crawl contest.
There you go. You wanted another poll question. There it is, by the way. If a
Sounds like
baby's-
Moulton would be Shooter McGavin taking the gold jacket from Happy Gilmore.
Yep. Okay. I'd be
Are
getting
you
the fight.
kidding me right now? I was so excited because I had another story that's basically kind of it turns out to be a hoax at this Portland Pickles baseball game. The West Coast Wooden Bat College League, and they bring a kid out of the crowd and give him the jersey and give him his chance at fame. And apparently the kid goes yard, and everybody's all excited because they think it's a great moment. Turns out the kid plays for Lewis and Clark College, and now they're trying to figure out if it was all indeed a hoax, and they knew that they were bringing a college ball player out there. But the baby walks for the first. It's not like the baby understands instructions.
I get it. I get
Was
it.
your granddaughter in this race and lost?
I could care less about all of that stuff. Okay? You know that.
DQ that baby. Tim, I seriously question whether or not it was the baby's first steps. Get him, David. Are you?
Hold
In other words,
on.
we need Congress on this. Yeah, that's what we need.
Yeah, that's
They're not.
definitely
You know what?
we need.
You're probably right because they're not doing a damn thing anyhow, aren't they?
No,
All for
they're,
another couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, please. Besides, there'd probably be a filibuster, the discussion all night, and eventually, just probably end up needing J.D. Vance to break the tie, and who knows which way each party would vote. But it's just a thought. It's a baby crawl. Okay, and all of a sudden, one of the babies starts walking, which is cool as blank. I'm just wondering, is that against the rules? It's not like I care. I just wondered out loud.
Moulton rips off shirt, Hulkster style, rips the trophy away, and does the suck it gesture.
I could care less about this stuff. Please.
Now more people say guarantee that was not the baby's first steps. Axe wants the baby tested for PEDs for crying out loud.
I don't want him to take the trophy away. It was a heartwarming moment. I don't want to ruin it. Okay. I just curious. Okay. Are you allowed to do that? Okay.
Texter disqualified for walking might respect the WNBA for finally enforcing rules.
Right. I mean, somewhere Caitlin Clark's like, no wonder they don't call fouls on me. They won't disqualify the kid for walking. It's a crawl race.
I do like the whole point about, disqualified for walking because they don't call traveling in the NBA or the WNBA. I think that's the most sane comment I've seen.
That's outstanding. In fact, that's the reason why the kid was not disqualified, because we don't call walking in basketball anymore.
Was the dad's name Danny Almonte? Miller and Moulton. We will talk to Miami Dolphins next with Chris Perkins. Thanks for listening. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to the day I can do that again.
Oh, without it hurting?
I literally haven't sneezed, and I have to fight off every sneeze right now. Getting closer to get whatever the damn operations they have to do to shoot cement in my back.
You sent him the link, right?
I did.
Okay.
I just texted him also that he should have.
I hope everybody understands, and I am serious about this for 5. You know, I could give a crap. I don't care who wins youth sports halftime contests or anything. And please know, I don't give up about any of that. It was just something that I wondered. I'd be sitting there going, "Well, wait a minute, does that disqualify the kid or not?"
Oh no! If we were like a Dan Patrick show, that would instantly be. Virtue. I have two compression fractures in my back. I'm not going to anybody but a spine person to fix this. What do you say, Chris?
Hey, what's up, gentlemen? How are you?
I'm excellent. How are you, my man?
I am doing good. Doing good.
What time did they get going today?
9.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see what they got out there. I mean, the injuries are starting to creep up.
I know. We said it yesterday. It's like, where can't they get hurt? Secondary and offensive line.
Yep.
Where have they gotten hurt? Secondary and offensive line.
Yep, I know. It's incredible, right? I mean, I think Austin Jackson, he's supposed to be back for the opener, so that's fine. That Cater injury, the cornerbacks are just.
And there's really nowhere to get them. I mean, they got to wait for guys to get cut, right?
Yep. I mean, there's still guys out there, Rasul Douglas and James Bradbury and Stephon Gilmore, that crew, but Sante Samuel Jr. But, those guys, it's just like they got Jack Jones and Mike Hilton. If you're out there now, it's for a reason. So,
All right. We got to put this aside. Chris, we just did the story. I don't know if you saw it. Halftime WNBA game. They have a baby crawl contest.
That was great.
Okay. So the one baby, I guess, midway through the crawl gets up and takes his or her first steps.
Yep.
Okay. I asked the question, tongue in cheek, does that disqualify the baby?
You know what? I technically yes. Technically yes, but it's such a great.
I know that. I'm just wondering. Okay, now I could give a, but I'm just wondering. It's like being in a wheelchair race. If midway through it you get up and you walk to the finish line, doesn't that disqualify you?
It technically yes. But it's such a great occasion.
I know.
You have to give the baby the win. But I agree. Technically yes, it's a crawling contest. You can't walk.
If you get up and start walking, you're done. Congratulations. We've got pictures, video, thousands cheering you on. It's a story for the rest of your life.
Right.
Okay, the certificate goes to that family over there.
You guys are a bunch of snarkity blanky blanks. That's all.
And I'll go one further. You might need to put mom on a polygraph.
Well, we just did 8-10 minutes on it. Maybe the funniest 8-10 minutes we've had in months. And that's what the texters are saying. DQ him, check the kid for PEDs. No way it was
Check the kid for PEDs. I love it.
That's the world we're in right now. Kid takes first step. No way it was a kid's first step. So a bunch of liars.
Right.
Chris, you'll love this. I thought the best line the texter said, well, they don't call walking in basketball, so they can't call it in this.
Oh, there you go. That's sharp. That's real sharp for this hour of the morning.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. No, that was a great video. That was just outstanding. The first steps. I mean, man. But yeah, you got to wonder. You do have to wonder nowadays. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That is great.
Too funny. All right, we got 5 seconds. Here we go, gang.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And 22 minutes before the hour, Chris Perkins of the South Florida Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com is how you can read what he writes. You can also follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Chris and all our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. So how's everybody holding up with the heat in all seriousness, or is this move to the mornings a really smart move? Because it's been hotter than usual in Florida in July and August. So I'll just start with underhanded there, okay? How's everybody handling the conditions?
I think the move to an earlier time is absolutely great for me. I don't think the players, because it's all about me. You guys know that. The players seem to like it, but everybody has to get up earlier. The coaches are insane. They get up there at like 5 a.m. anyway. It makes no difference to them. The players, there's a little bit more stress on them. The fans, the fans seem to like it, but I think the turnout has been a little smaller on the weekdays just because it's earlier. But hey, but when they finish practice, the heat index is only like 100 instead of like 108. So I think it's a good thing.
I think the word you used last year in describing Tyreek Hill was a knucklehead.
Yes.
A couple of times you used that.
Yep.
Are you buying the new and improved Tyreek Hill? The attitude, running guy, he rained down Minka after an interception was thrown in camp yesterday. Are you buying the new and improved Tyreek Hill?
I got to see it for a couple of months before I believe it. Not a couple of weeks, not 3 or 4 weeks, a couple of months, because we know Tyreek. Tyreek's going to Tyreek. But I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear that it seems like something is getting through to him. Tyreek is a charmer, though. He can say the right things, and a couple of weeks later, he'll be back to the old Tyreek. So it's a positive right now on, what are we, August 5th? It's a positive right now, and that's as far as I'm going to take it.
All right. We all agreed the 2 areas that the Dolphins could least afford injuries was the offensive line and the defensive secondary. Chris, what 2 units have been hit by injuries the hardest so far?
Offensive line and secondary.
Okay. That doesn't seem to be a good thing, Chris. Are we off base?
Well, I'll say this. I think this offensive line, the starting 5, has the potential to be good. Aaron Brewer at center, James Daniels at right guard, Jonas Savaiinaya at left guard, right tackle Austin Jackson, who is out right now. They expect him back for the opener, and Patrick Paul at left tackle. I'm really liking Savaiinaya and Patrick Paul working together at left guard and left tackle. I'm seeing good things with them as a tandem and individually. Aaron Brewer just came back from a soft tissue injury. His first day of practice was Sunday, the same day that Austin Jackson went out. The offensive line depth is the worst it's been in McDaniel's 4 years. It really is. There's no Kendall Lamb, no Isaiah Wynn, nobody of that ilk. If the starting 5 stays healthy, which we know won't happen, that offensive line has a chance to be good. In the secondary, the cornerbacks, I'm very, very concerned about them. Losing Kader Kohu from the nickel, that's a big loss. We know that Jalen Ramsey is gone, traded to Pittsburgh. We know Kendall Fuller is gone on the other side. He was cut. In the secondary, Minka Fitzpatrick is solid, right? That guy is Pro Bowl caliber. At the other safety, Ife Melifonwu just came back from being on the non-football injury list. I'll say this, I'm seeing some good stuff from the safety depth. Elijah Campbell, Ashton Davis is hurt now. He's got the left leg injury, but there's a couple of youngsters, Jordan Colbert and John Saunders Jr., who have flashed and showed us things. But if we go back to cornerback, starting on one outside is Storm Duck. He's been outstanding in camp. He's very promising. Last year, he was an undrafted rookie from Louisville. He's solid, but in the slot with Mike Hilton and Cornell Armstrong on the other outside spot, Kendall Sheffield and Jack Jones, I haven't seen much. The coverage has been okay, but they haven't made many plays, interceptions, knocking down passes, things like that. Jason Marshall Jr. From Florida, the rookie 5th round pick or 6th round pick. I keep forgetting. I think 5th. I think him and Jordan Phillips were both 5th round picks. But anyway, he kind of flashes. He shows some promise, but I'm very, very worried about that cornerback position. They are hurting at cornerback. We know the guys that are out there also, right? Rasul Douglas, Stephon Gilmore, Asante Samuel Jr., James Bradbury. The joint practices are going to tell us a lot. That starts Thursday at Chicago. Then they go to Detroit. But I'm very worried about cornerback.
Well, the one area that can alleviate problems at corner is a good pass rush. And by all indications, the Miami Dolphins, Chris, this is a team that should be able to get after the quarterback. I mean, when's the last time you've not only seen the talent, but what appears to be the depth on the defensive line where they could almost go in waves and get after a quarterback? Because if you've got a bad secondary, you better be able to get after the QB.
Yeah, no, you're right, Mark, 100%. And I'll say this, I'm really high on this front seven. I'm trying to temper my excitement. I'm not going to get too crazy, but I do think they can be game-changing and game-winning on that front seven. And look, they were number 4 defense last year overall. They were number 9 against the run. They just locked up Zach Sealer yesterday, the contract, the 3-year, $67 million extension. You got Benito Jones there and at nose guard. At the other defensive tackle, you've got Kenneth Grant, the first-round pick out of Michigan. He's been playing pretty well also. He's hard to move out off of his spot when he gets down there. And then your edge rushers, Bradley Chubb, Chop Robinson, Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips sustained that injury. He got a leg whip. We've seen him out at practice. I don't know if he'll return to practice today, but he was out there yesterday walking around. The inside linebackers, they're loaded. That might be their best position on the team, which, you would like it to be, something else, something more impactful. But you got Jordan Brooks, who led the team in tackles last year, Terrell Dodson, who led the team in interceptions with 3. Behind them, Willie Gay Jr., who has probably been the player of camp so far, based on, expectations. Tua has been really solid, but Willie Gay, that dude makes plays every day. And then you got KJ Britt. So I really like that front seven. And then when you get to the defensive line depth, you do have some guys that have flashed. Matthew Butler, Matt Dickerson, the edge rusher depth. Grayson Murphy has flashed. Quentin Bell has flashed. Derek McClendon has flashed. That front seven can be really, really good. I don't think it can make up for the lack of quality at cornerback. I don't think Minka can make up for that. Eventually it'll get exposed, but that's going to help greatly. That's going to help those corners greatly.
Do you think they have enough depth on the line and at linebacker to use it to trade from? Like yesterday, there was an interesting trade, the Raiders and the Eagles. The Eagles have a bunch of young defensive linemen. They like this Thomas Booker kid, but the Raiders needed a lineman, and I guess the Eagles felt they were a corner short. So they acquired Jacorian Bennett, who has started 11 games last year. And, that's an interesting deal. Okay, do you think the Dolphins have enough depth on the line and at linebacker to trade one of them for somebody else's corner, or no?
I think they would probably like to hold on to that depth because they might need it. They're not so deep that they can afford to lose guys right now. At inside linebacker, the guy that they would deal would be KJ Britt. I think you've got to hold on to Willie Gay because he can do so many things from inside and outside. You can put him in special packages. You don't know what's going to happen with Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips as far as health, because they're both a health risk, even though they're healthy right now. And I just said, Jalen Phillips got leg whipped, but he's okay. I don't think that they can really make too many trades. I think they're going to look more at free agent pickups and again, after the joint practices and preseason games.
I know the team will only go as far as Tua goes, but Quinn Ewers, I worry about anytime someone says a rookie can be a backup, because that means if Tua gets hurt week 1, you're putting in a guy who's never played in the league, and that scares the hell out of me. But do you see Quinn Ewers at some point being the backup quarterback for this team this year?
I do not. And I'll tell you why. I think a lot of this is political. You know that Zach Wilson, the number 2 pick of the 2021 draft by the New York Jets, Mike McDaniel called him a direct, calculated target. And what that means is they think they can rehab him the way that they rehab Tua. And Mike McDaniel was careful not to compare Zach Wilson to Tua. But one of the first things they've done with Zach Wilson is go to work building his confidence. Same thing they did with Tua, right? After he took a beating from Brian Flores. So that's kind of what they're doing with Zach. Now, I'll say this. The competition in camp has been close. I think Zach Wilson has been the number 2 guy. He's clearly been better. But the margin is getting slimmer every day. We see Zach making mistakes, throwing interceptions. We see Quinn being fairly clean. But I agree with you. I don't feel good about putting a rookie 7th-round quarterback in there when this team has expectations. This team has to get to the playoffs this year. Not that Zach Wilson is any great shakes, but he's got 33 starts or whatever it is. I do feel better about Zach Wilson. And the other thing is Zach is getting $6 million. So you combine the salary plus the politics. I just don't think the optics would be good if Mike McDaniel, who has had trouble developing backup quarterbacks, all of a sudden his direct calculated target gets beaten out by a rookie 7th-rounder. Optics aren't good on that.
Chris Perkins, South Florida Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com is how you can read what he writes on the Dolphins, and you can follow Chris on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Hey, let's talk running backs here. Is this going to be a 1A, 1B thing, or is this going to be a 1 and a 2 thing?
It should be 1A, 1B. We'll see how it shakes out. Devon Achane, clearly the 1. Alexander Madison has been showing some stuff. He had kind of been pigeonholed I guess everybody had considered him a short yardage back. He's showing us some quick feet. He is ripping off consistent 8, 10, 12-yard runs. He's not running 30, 40 yards. That's not who he is, but he's hitting holes hard. He's using his power and his speed to give the Dolphins an element they don't have back there in the backfield. He's been better than Jalen Wright, who was their rookie 3rd-round pick last year. He's been better than Ollie Gordon II, their rookie 6th-round pick this year. And again, Madison gives them power and speed, a combination they don't have. He hits holes hard. He can do the short yardage stuff, but I would like to see them give him some attempts on 1st and 2nd down to kind of establish a physical, aggressive mentality. You can put Achane out in the slot. You can give him some time off. Achane has 78 receptions last year, so he can run and catch the ball. He can still be a weapon, but I would like to see kind of a 1A, 1B with Madison as 1B.
We're going to see Darren Waller at any time during preseason. I know he's coming back from injury. I mean, a little banged up. I didn't like the sign. I didn't like what they did at tight end, but what's going on with that position, Chris?
I have the same reaction as David. This has got some OBJ written on it, right? You guys remember?
Oh, yeah.
From last year, and where it just didn't pan out. You had high hopes at the start, but it just didn't pan out. Waller seems like a good guy. I'll tell you guys this, that Waller had said the only 2 coaches he would come back to play for are John Gruden and Frank Smith. Frank Smith is the Dolphins offensive coordinator. He was his tight ends coach with the Raiders. Yesterday, Frank Smith got very emotional and choked up talking about Darren Waller and their relationship. But Waller hasn't even taken the field yet. I don't understand what it means that you're not in football shape. When we talked to him, he was on the podium when he first signed. He looks good. He's cut. He looks really good, but now not in football shape. I'm not sure what that means, and I'm not sure how you get in football shape without playing football. So this is kind of a mystery right now.
I don't know. First off, I'd never sign a guy who retired. Secondly, why did they have to give him $5-6 million? I mean, why did they give him the veteran minimum? I mean, make him prove himself. I don't understand this at all. And quite frankly, Frank Smith, obviously they signed him off of your recommendation. This could be a fireable offense.
I don't know if it's that much. I'll say this, that Darren Waller was going to be their receiving tight end, and they don't have a receiving tight end. Pharaoh Brown and Julian Hill are both in line or blocking tight ends. Behind them is Tanner Connor. He's a receiving tight end, but he hasn't really shown anything beyond being a special teams contributor. So really, you're looking at not only did you lose Jonnu Smith and those 88 receptions, there's nobody to fill that role. Now you could argue in 2022 and 2023 when they had Mike Gesicki and Durham Smythe, they weren't major receiving contributors, and the offense was fine. But you're not looking for fine, right? You're looking for improvement. You're looking to be better. They're not going to be better at the tight end position as far as receiving tight end.
He's Chris Perkins. You can read him, South Florida Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. You can follow him on X at Chris Perk, P-E-R-K. Chris, you're writing great stuff. Thanks as always for your time and your insight, and hopefully we can check in around cuts.
All right, let's do it. I'll be around. Thanks, guys.
Chris Perkins. Sun Sentinel, sun-sentinel.com. We'll switch from the NFL to college football. Brett Ciancia, the owner of the Pick Six Previews, is next.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower's so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
That was a lot of info there with Chris.
Yep.
And we went through a lot of stuff there.
Yep. If you're a Doll fan, you should be happy with that segment.
Yeah, I don't. He does a really good job with that team. I got to try to get over to a game to meet him face to face and maybe get a hold of their press department and say how tough would it be for me to get credentials.
Don't they play the Bucks this year?
I got the schedule right in front of me. They host Tampa the Sunday after Christmas. They have to get off to a good start. I mean,
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
3 of the first 5 on the road, but 2 very winnable games. And then 2 division home games that are not Buffalo. I mean, they've got to be 3-2, but they really should be 4-1 after 5 games. If they're going to the playoffs, they should be 4-1.
But the one is at Buffalo, right?
Hey,
Short
I'll
week.
give them a loss.
Right.
Sure, we just give them a loss. But
Right.
at Indy, home for New England, at Buffalo, long week to Monday, home for the Jets, at Carolina.
Yeah. I know. I agree. How do you make the playoffs? Win the winnable games. Ciancia.
Brett is on.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Halfway home on this first Tuesday in August. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Scott Lewis in 35 minutes to talk Bears. Mike Miller from the field of 68 to talk about the field remaining 68, at least for one more year. Brett Ciancia is kind enough to join us. He is the inspiration behind the Pick Six Previews. Pick Six Previews regarded by many as the most accurate college football preview magazine going. Josh Pate of 24/7 raves about it. The Bear, Chris Fallica, does as well. So does Scott Van Pelt. Brett, it's David and Mark. Thanks for joining us for the first time. How are you?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's that time of year. It's preview magazine season, and, really excited to break down this 2025 season with you guys, and appreciate you having me on.
Well, obviously, we laugh at preseason rankings because, in our opinion, they shouldn't come out till mid-October when people have been able to see teams, but we understand why they are out. Just taken right in Florida. The coaches poll had the Canes 10, the Gators were 18, I believe. Do you think either of those teams are ranked too high?
No, in fact, I've got Miami right there. When I went through and did my ACC preview, I have it as Clemson versus Miami as the ACC title game. Really high on what Mario Cristobal is building at Miami. I thought they were really close last year. They could have just finished off a 21-0 lead on Syracuse. They would have been in the playoff. And, they lose Cam Ward, but the way they recruit, the way they bring in transfers at such a high clip, I think they're one of the most talented rosters in the ACC yet again. So they actually earned that large bid for me in the 2025 playoff projection. So I like where they're at there. With Florida, I've actually got Florida 5 spots higher. I've got them at 13th nationally. And that's probably higher than you'll find at other magazines. And what I like about Florida is they really turned a corner there last November. Program was really in shambles. They were going to fire Napier. Fan base was upset. They issue a public statement there of support of Billy Napier, the head coach, and they rattle off 4 straight wins, a top 10 recruiting class, and now everybody's back. And they were able to get a couple NFL linemen to forego the draft and return to Gainesville. So I really like what Florida has. Their schedule is so tough, but in terms of evaluating a team, I think they're one of the most talented. So I like them both up there in the top 15 nationally.
Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews is the college football preview magazine. Follow Brett on X at Pick Six Previews. By the way, quickly, how can people get a hold of Pick Six Previews?
Yeah, thank you. It's only available online at pick6previews.com. We have a digital copy, a PDF that gets emailed over immediately, or, of course, a hard copy magazine, the old-fashioned way. And if you buy the hard copy, you also get digital, so that for those 2 days worth in shipping, you get the digital copy. But we got sample teams and testimonials on there, pick6previews.com.
Who do you have winning the Big Ten? Coaches poll came out yesterday, had Ohio State ahead of Penn State. When the Big Ten had their media days, Penn State got the nod. Brett, are we wrong in saying if not now, when for Penn State?
That's spot on in my opinion, and in fact, they are my pick. I went with Penn State to win the Big Ten. You know, in the Big Ten, you have 3 really superpower programs right now, and those being Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon. But the catch is that Ohio State and Oregon, they're both losing 20 starters apiece. They're very new, very young, super talented, but I think they're still a year off for both of those. So with Penn State, this is their 1-year window, a window of opportunity to go win the league, catch these 2 teams in young transition years. And Penn State is nothing like that. They're very veteran. Almost everybody returned to this team. They're 5-star running backs. Their offensive line has 4 all Big Ten guys. And what I like about Penn State is not just the players, but they have 2 of the best coordinators in the country. Their guy, Andy Kotelnicki, calling the offense. He made Kansas look like winners. And then on defense, they went and stole Jim Knowles from Ohio State. So, you know, talent-wise, future NFL players, but really the coordinator brain power made them stand out for me. So I see a 1-year opportunity. I think Penn State can go do it. When they have the talent advantage under James Franklin, they're really strong. It's just been, can they get over the Ohio State hump? And this year I think they do.
A lot of young quarterbacks in that league, and Penn State, obviously, with Aller bringing back a veteran quarterback. Is Illinois going to be this year's Indiana?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not making many friends in Champaign, Illinois this year. And, in fact, I'm really fading them hard. You know, I like to look at my advanced stats, my advanced numbers. I call it my game grader formula. And while it was a great coaching job last year by Bielema to get to 10 wins, my game grader had them still at 35th in the country, nowhere near a top 10, nowhere near, you know, a playoff appearance. So I think it was a little bit overrated last year. I know they return a very veteran roster, but I think that roster already hit its peak with 10 wins. So I see them now flipping back to more of a 7-5 team this year. And I've got them all the way down at 9th in the Big Ten, much less 9th nationally, where you see some people having them. So I think they were the most overrated team in the polls that came out yesterday.
Well, if you have Florida 13th nationally, I'm curious where you have them in the SEC, assuming Texas and Georgia in whatever order are 1-2 in the SEC. Do the Gators make the top 4, which in theory gets you in a playoff?
As of now, no. I mean, I actually have it with Texas playing Alabama in Atlanta for the title game. I've got Georgia there at 3rd place, and I think that still gets an at-large bid in the playoff. I have LSU 4th in the SEC, and again, I think that's still going to get 4 SEC teams in this bracket. So that's where I drew the line. I have Florida at 6th in the SEC, and but here's the deal with Florida and really Oklahoma for that matter. They have such brutal schedule draws, and now that you've taken away the East Division and West Division in the SEC, and you've got 16 teams only playing 8 conference games, these schedules are so randomized and unbalanced where Florida and Oklahoma, they're going to end up facing at least 7 ranked teams this year, 7 top 25 teams. Meanwhile, other ones play 1, 2, or 3. So just on schedule alone, it's going to be really hard to make a playoff. But on any given Saturday, I think this Florida team is one of the most talented in the country and should be the best team in quite some time. So, you know, they might be a couple one-score wins away from breaking through.
Arizona, SMU, Indiana, all surprise teams last year. When you look out and look for a team that may surprise and try to make a run for the playoff, who is that team this year?
Yeah, well, I think the surprise conference, really, it's a whole conference. You got to look at this Big 12. It's so wide open, and in 14 years of doing Pick 6 previews, it's probably the most wide open conference I've ever covered. You could argue 9 different teams here in this league, and case in point, at the Big 12 Media Days, they polled the coaches, and the coaches picked Kansas State and Iowa State. But for me, those two teams finished 6 and 7, not even in my top 5. That's how wide open it is. But I went with Arizona State to go back and repeat. But if you're looking for dark horse teams, take a look at some of these Texas schools, Texas Tech, TCU, Baylor. Real quick with Texas Tech, they went out and signed the best transfer class in the country with all that oil money. So all that talent influx there makes them a threat. Baylor, a very veteran team coming off a 9-win year. Everyone's back in Waco. And then TCU, nobody's got them on their radar, but I've got them up in my top 25. Very veteran team again. I know I keep saying it, but if you're in the preview magazine business, you like returning starters, you like returning production, but they have a lot of firepower at their skill positions. So those are 4 teams there, but TCU, Texas Tech, Baylor, they should all be ranked and ranked higher than they were.
Wish BYU returned their quarterback. I would have been very high on them. By the way, quickly, Dion, year 3 at Colorado, how do they match up?
Yeah, well, with Colorado, they were one of the big mystery teams the last couple cycles. I think they started to settle in. Of course, they do lose Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter, 2 program legends, but they still have a lot of talent on this roster, especially defensively. Their defensive line remains packed with talent. That's going to keep them in a lot of ball games. The offensive line has to get better. It's been one of the worst units in America, but you see that improving. They reloaded at receiver. They also signed an experienced quarterback from Liberty, Caden Salter, one of the best quarterback transfers out there this cycle. So I think they reloaded okay. I don't see them contending for a Big 12 title, but they're not going to fall off the pre-Dion era. So they'll be more in that 6-6 bowl season type team.
Talk to me about the school that Dion played for, Florida State, coming off of an awful year. It's a monster year for Norvell and that program. What can we expect out of Florida State?
Yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster over there. I mean, they had the undefeated season and really an all-time playoff snub. They really deserved a playoff bid, and I really lost a lot of trust in the playoff committee when that happened. But I think so did Florida State, because I think that really lingered on their minds all throughout last season. I mean, they spoke about it all off season. It was in their media days. It was a kind of a locker room distraction, the aftermath of that snub. So long story short, I think they were better than a 2-10 team last year. I think that the talent-wise. So now that they can refocus, maybe another round of transfers, I really like the coordinator hires that Mike Norvell pulled off. He got Gus Malzahn to step down from being a head coach to get back to X's and O's as the offensive coordinator. Brought in Tony White, a guy that made winners out of Syracuse and Nebraska. So I like their coaches a lot, and I think with another round of transfers, maybe one year removed from that playoff snub and all that distraction, I think they bounce back. I've got them going 8-4, 7-5, and back to bowl season, maybe even contend for 3rd place in the ACC.
Brett Ciancia, Pick 6 Previews. Follow him on X at Pick 6 Previews. All right. Is Boise State the best group of 5 team in the country?
Yeah, they're my pick to get that last spot. It's something where I don't want to overthink it. I think this year that is the chalk pick. Last year, it was everyone was picking Liberty. I sided with Boise State, and they went out and proved me right. Ashton Genty went for 2,000 yards and nearly won the Heisman. So that was a win. Boise State made me look smart last year, so I'm going to pick them again this time. Hopefully they make it 2 in a row. I think it's the hardest conference in the non-AQ level. That Mountain West is really physical league, and I think they emerged from that, the best league, so they're going to get that non-AQ spot for me.
When we finish the season, who will we say is the best quarterback in the SEC?
Wow, there's so many contenders. It's
right.
Probably the deepest the conference has ever been. But the question is, there's a lot of young guys that got new faces. So, DJ Lagway from Florida, John Mateer, Oklahoma. These are guys, relatively new to the league. They could emerge, but everyone's going to say Arch Manning. He's getting a lot of hype, but it's almost like we're setting the bar too high for the guy. So I'll go ahead and say Garrett Nussmeier. Maybe that's the easy pick, but he's on leading LSU's offense. We already saw him put up a ton of stats last year. He's going to get some NFL grades. I'll go with him from LSU, and if LSU can't make a playoff now with this roster and all this resources, it might be time for Brian Kelly. So they're all in this year on 2025.
The Nuss Bus. Okay. I like him as a Heisman candidate. Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews. Pick6previews.com is how you order it. It is graded out over the last 10 years, the most accurate college football preview magazine with rave reviews from some of the big wigs in the industry. Pick6previews.com. Follow Brett on X at Pick6Previews. Brett, hopefully we can do this again. Thanks for your time.
Hey, anytime, guys. Yeah, appreciate you having me on, and good luck to the Florida teams this fall.
Brett Ciancia, Pick Six Previews.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Ream Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Nice to work in a new guest.
He was great.
Yeah.
And he said the magic words.
Right. Call again.
Call anytime.
Right.
We will. I have to say, the only thing that bums, I literally was going to buy it this morning. Okay, the money's not a big deal, but when you charge me $9 to ship a magazine, that irritates me.
I could see that.
It was like $27, $28. I'm like, all right. And then another $10 to ship it. It's like, come on. Although everything's so damn expensive now. I shipped a box to Jake. It was like $25 for a, it's like, are you kidding me? Only thing we didn't really get to was UCF.
They really need to win their home games because their road conference schedule is hard.
UCF?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know that they win a road conference game.
Right.
I think they've got 5 of them on the road.
The only game that they've got to beat, it's Cincinnati, I think, on the road.
Whew. Yeah.
No,
I hear you. I hear you.
So they've got Jacksonville State, North Carolina, A&T. They got to win those. They got to beat North Carolina. I'm sorry.
Yes,
they get Kansas at home. That's no picnic. Houston and Oklahoma State at home. Must be wins. But they're at Kansas State, at Cincinnati, at Baylor, at Texas Tech, at BYU.
Yeah, definitely 4 road losses out of those 5. Definitely. You're right.
Right.
The best shot, Cincy.
That's their best shot on the road. Ooh, Adam Schefter reported 9 seconds ago that Teddy Bridgewater is visiting Tampa today and is expected to sign with the Bucs per sources.
It's a ringing endorsement of Kyle Trask, isn't it?
You got that right. Holy cow. Who sucks more?
And isn't this year 5 for Trask? Because he played with the Gators in 2000. Or 2020, I should say, sorry. So I think this is year 5 for Trask. Be curious if Trask got nicked at practice or something.
Yeah, but Teddy's not signing with someone to be the number 3 because someone got nicked.
No. No, Teddy's signing somewhere where
I'm the backup.
He's the step away.
Right. Exactly.
The only way Teddy would agree to be a 3rd stringer this year is if he knows he's going to be suspended and this is going to be a lost year at Miami Northwestern. And he's like, well, I'll go make some money. Wearing a hat and carrying a clipboard. But I will say Teddy is a very different quarterback than Baker Mayfield. Teddy is not a gunslinger, not a throw the ball into coverage guy. Come on, Jay Knoll. I made a valid point.
Okay, Karen.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
Welcome back to Miller and Karen. That's what the show's been renamed this morning. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Make sure you show up for Miller and Karen's Fantasy Football Summit a week from tonight at Shula's Joe Sports Cafe. Unfortunately, we haven't renamed the website yet. It's still millerandmoulton.com. That's how you can sign up at millerandmoulton.com. But I'm being called a Karen.
And if you're wondering why, we ask you to download what you missed of the show, particularly the second hour of the show, when we talked about the baby crawl at the WNBA game in Vegas over the weekend when the baby stood up and walked, apparently for the first time. There are those of you questioning whether or not the baby had walked before. David wanted the baby DQ'd. For the record, Chris Perkins, prior to our on-air interview, Chris joins us via Zoom. So we talked to Chris for a couple of minutes off air, and I'm talking to him about camp, and Moulton just blatantly interrupts and says, yeah, whatever. Got to get to the crux to the story. Got to find it. And Chris had seen it. Chris agreed with David that the baby should have been DQ'd. And I called David a Karen for that.
It's a baby crawl contest. The baby gets up midway through the crawl and starts walking, which is awesome. Apparently for the first time. We've got it on video. Okay. How many people have their kids' first steps on video? All right. Thousands cheering the kid on for their first steps. I mean, honestly, how many times has that ever happened in the world? Okay. It's an awesome moment. It's a baby crawl. The kid starts walking. I'm just wondering, that's got to be against the rules, right? Certainly against the spirit of the contest. That's all. Just wondering.
And
I don't
David,
want
of course, just trying to capture the spirit of the thing.
I just don't want a congressional investigation. I'm not going to show up at their door and insist that, give me the trophy back. I'm just wondering. That's all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Some NFL news, or at least suspected news. Adam Schefter reporting that Teddy Bridgewater is meeting with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this morning and is expected to sign with the Bucs. It will be his 8th team in the NFL, his 3rd team in that division. As we said during the break when I told David about it, it is a ringing endorsement for Kyle Trask.
But now, right, Detroit's like, son of a, are we really stuck with Hendon Hooker?
It looks that way. And boy, oh boy, if I'm a Lions fan right now, and I kind of am, but I don't lose any sleep whether they win or lose. What are they doing at the backup quarterback position? Because Hooker can't play.
Carson Wentz, baby. Ryan Tannehill. Hey, what's the difference between Tannehill and Bridgewater?
I'm fine with either of those. Have you seen a story? Have you seen a rumor? Have you seen anyone reporting that Detroit's talking to someone else for a second-string quarterback?
Well, up until 3 minutes ago, they thought they had Teddy Bridgewater. Now they got to go to plan B. Tell me, though, the difference. Teddy Bridgewater didn't play last year, okay? Coached high school football, and then literally around Christmas, okay, the Lions said, listen, you're better than the guy we have here. Could you just show up and, break glass in case of emergency? You're our guy, okay? And sure enough, Goff missed a series in a playoff game, and Teddy had to throw a pass, okay? But, I mean, seriously, Tannehill missed last year. What's Tannehill, 37?
Well, that's the difference because Bridgewater's 32. So there's an age difference, but I'm with you, but we'll see. We'll see what's happening in Detroit if indeed they think Hooker is their backup. Our poll question today, it's National Oyster Day. How do you like your oysters? Raw, grilled or baked, fried, or none? They look like snot. More of you like oysters than do not like oysters, although it is close, a total of like 46% on the side of oysters on National Oyster Day. Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton to vote. Can I ask you a question? We've not talked about this at all.
Okay.
The whole ESPN taking over NFL media, which means
we talked about it last week a little bit, but okay.
But it's kind of happened since then. And
right.
It was talked about happening. It's basically done now. There are a lot of people out there, media members and fans, that are scared to death of what ESPN could do to the red zone. 7 hours of commercial-free football. How long will 7 hours of commercial-free football last until the red zone starts having commercials? Because, well, it's owned by ESPN.
Well, it would be stupid. But I think all this product, if you will, that's been purchased for over $1 billion by ESPN is done for 2 reasons. One, it's to literally get married to the NFL. So that they're saying to the NFL, listen, we're in this together. You're going to make whatever media decisions you're going to make down the road, but you ain't going to mess with us, right? Because without you, we're in big trouble. But secondly, Mark, to me, it's, hey, $29.95, right? That's the price to purchase, ESPN and not have it on cable or, to buy it separately.
$30 a month. Yes,
right.
You're exactly right.
Well, you got to have really good product to do it. What NFL fan won't spend the $30 a month for 5 months for the red zone? I mean, how many people purchase it now? Do the math. I mean,
look, I get it, but ESPN is now controlling 2 products that everyone loved And most people are petrified of what ESPN will do to them inside the NBA.
Right.
And now the red zone.
Right. Well, okay. Inside the NBA is not even being produced in Bristol, Connecticut. Okay. It's being produced in the same Turner Studios in Atlanta that it's always been produced at. The same 4 people hosting it are going to be the same 4 people hosting it next year. Barkley said something interesting, I thought, on Dan Patrick a week ago, in which Barkley said, the only question I now have, he goes, I think we're going to be left alone pregame. I think we're going to be left alone postgame, except we really shoot the bull for a long time postgame. Will ESPN go with us as long as Turner used to? Basically, we determined when we signed off with Turner. Is ESPN going to say, you got to the top of the hour and then we're going to Scott Van Pelt?
Exactly. And I think that's a legitimate concern if you're a fan of that show, because that's the part of the show that is always rated really well. It's amazing that their post-game coverage can outrank the game, that more people were into that shooting the bull. But if you've got to get to a sports center, when will that happen? And, people are talking already. Will, in a cost-cutting measure, will they get rid of Scott Hansen, who everybody loves, who does Red Zone, to put in one of their guys?
Now, I thought Hansen signed a 3-year extension. Okay, I'll have to look that up. I thought he signed a 3-year extension, which means ESPN would be paying somebody 7 figures not to work. Now, they've done it before, but they prefer not to. I mean, here's my thing. Not this year, but next year is a Super Bowl year for ABC ESPN. They haven't had one of those in over 20 years. If I was ABC ESPN, I wouldn't touch anything. I'd get through my Super Bowl. I got to renew Joe and Troy. I got, and then I take inventory as to what we're doing and who's doing it. Mark, the only fly in the ointment. What if one of the big money people at ESPN contractually, Van Pelt, Greenberg, they go to management and they go, I want that red zone? That to me would be the problem.
Boy, they already work them at ESPN a lot. For someone to volunteer to do 7 hours commercial free, can't imagine that. Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122. or nolanagency.com. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
If you're a business who targets men, please know there is no better and more economical way to reach your target audience than us at Miller & Moulton. So let us help you make money. You can reach out to Mark at that Mark Miller or me at the David Moulton on X, or text us at 21,000. We have a proven product, a good reputation, and lots of quality segments that we can attach your company's name to. Miller & Moulton, we're like that old pizza box. You've had the rest, now try the best. Miller & Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
This is Miller & Moulton.
I'm sure if Dr. Spock's listening this morning, he's on your DQ side.
By the way, Irish, big difference. Tannehill never announced his retirement. Okay. Tannehill was just waiting on a deal last year that never came. Secondly, Waller announced his retirement and literally said, the reason I'm retiring is I've lost my love of football. So I do think it's very different.
He on.
He gone.
He gone.
Could you imagine if the Hawk was doing the White Sox teams of the
Oh
last
my!
3 seasons?
How long would the amount of time he doesn't talk in a broadcast go on? We would get so disgusted.
You have got to be bleeping me.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Mike Miller, who covers college basketball for the Field of 68, which will remain the Field of 68, will join us coming up at the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton, brought to you in part by Shoeless Joe's Sports Cafe. You should have your fantasy football draft there. Free private rooms, free Wi-Fi, food and drink specials. Watch all your baseball and football all month long. Shoeless Joe's, good food, good times, good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers. Joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, Scott Lewis is back, co-host of 79th and Hallis, the podcast that covers the Bears. You can follow Scott on X at Barb Chair Scott, B-A-R-B Chair Scott. Scott, it's David and Mark. Good morning. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How you guys feeling?
Well, we're good. I'm just going to throw this out there.
very softly and innocently. How's the offense look?
It's a work in progress, I think, is what I would use. They've had some really good days these last couple days. Started off a little rough, on purpose, though. And I think that's one thing that I want to stress is it's been on purpose with Ben Johnson and the new offensive coaching staff, like putting in new installs every day. In fact, I think Ben Johnson said the other day or so they're only on the 9th install out of 12. But compared to how it looked at practice number 1, it looks much better right now. So been some highlights, been some lows. That's what camp is for, to get all the looks out, making sure that everything is looking good.
All right. Well, they invested a lot of money in revamping the offensive line. 3 new players for sure starting in the middle of the line. But am I right in seeing that Braxton Jones is actually in a battle for the left tackle spot?
Yes, it's a 3-way battle, actually. It's Braxton Jones, it's Karan Amagaji, second-year guy from Yale, and then Ozzie Trattorio, who they drafted in, I think, like the second or third round this year. So, yeah, it's something right now that I would probably say that Braxton has a slight edge on because he's the vet. But this is going to go down right to the line. One thing that Ben Johnson emphasized was that there's no depth chart and that people are going to come out here and have to earn their spots. And so they've been doing a lot of switching off. Sometimes you'll see Braxton with the 1. Sometimes you'll see Ozzie with the 1. So that is probably the actual legitimate battle that I would say is going to go down to the line. I'm interested to see how that's going to play out over these 3 preseason games coming up.
Scott Lewis, he's co-host of 79th and Hallis. It's the podcast covering the Bears. You can follow Scott on X, Barb, B-A-R-B, Chair Scott, Barb, Chair Scott. Ben Johnson's very different from Matt Eberflus, isn't
he? Yeah, very. In like every way. I think that what stood out to me the most, well, as a media person, is that he answers questions. Which is he gives you clear answers. I even, we just had Family Fest on Sunday, and there was a question about, a couple of the false start system happening, botched snaps, and he just straight up said, hey, if we keep doing this, we're not going to win many games. In my 5 years of covering thing, I haven't heard that. When it comes to injuries, like, there was a lot of concern at first from Luther Burden, and, he was very clear with us in the past. It's like you're talking to the FBI sometimes, trying to figure out what's going on with the Bears. But he's been very transparent with not just the media, but also the fans. But he's also very fiery, very, very fiery. This is a team that last year, and I've been on here and I told you guys that they wanted to be coached. Well, they're being coached. And, if people play around and mess it up, he'll take them off the field. And he'll run the second team or the third team. So it's definitely been a different structure than past years. And, of course, all this has got to translate on the field. He's the first-time head coach. But for the first time, at least since I've been covering the team, it feels like there's an actual plan of what he wants to do to get the team going, both offensively and defensively. And you can also see the entire staff, are fully, locked in on their jobs. So, I've seen him yell at players almost every other day. And I think that's something you want to see. And, holding players accountable down from Caleb Williams down to Cole Kmet, anybody. So he doesn't really have any favoritism.
Well, speaking of Kmet, obviously they drafted Loveland, and we know that Ben Johnson from his time in Detroit likes to do multiple tight ends, and the Bears are a team that love to have, 17, 18 tight ends on their roster. But how's the rookie looking? And obviously it's a team, I think we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel this year, right?
Yeah. Colson looks great. There was some worries at first because he didn't have much workout during, really any workout during the summer. Of course, he had that injury coming into the draft. So he didn't participate in rookie minicamp and OTAs and mandatory camp, but he has looked phenomenal. Like, he's really looked good. And you can see just exactly how Ben is going to try to use him in the offense. So I think that's something you're going to see a lot of him and Cole matched up this year. You're going to see them both out there at the same time. And, I tweeted like a couple months ago that it wouldn't surprise me that if Cole isn't on the team next year. I'm still standing by that. This is not like report or anything. I just feel that long term, this is going to be Colson's team. But I think you're going to see them really be a nice dynamic duo this season. But he's made some good plays in camp, and you made some good plays on Family Fest as well. Nice touchdown from Caleb. So he's really been pretty good. Him and I would say Luther Burden have really been showing some signs.
Why did Poles get a contract extension? I mean, if you think about it, he got his head coach hire wrong. They haven't had a winning season since he's been general manager. I'm just curious. I mean, is this just to line him up contractually with Johnson? But is Poles the final word, or is Johnson the final word over Poles? From afar, Poles getting a contract extension to me seems silly unless Johnson is the power and Poles is now 1B.
Well, I wouldn't know if I would call Poles 1B. It's very much, I wouldn't say it's Ryan Poles' show. It's Kevin Warren's show. I think that's one thing that we've seen since Kevin Warren has been here, especially these last 10 months, that Kevin Warren, the CEO, is really, really running the ship. But, I mean, I understand some people who don't think he should get a contract extension. I'm not the biggest Ryan Poles fan, but I do shoot him a little bit with Dale Eberflus. I don't think he had much decision in that. When you have a head coach who's hired literally the day after the general manager is hired, I just don't believe he had much say so in that process. I think it was a situation where they're like, okay, we interviewed these 5 people because the Bears had like a committee that they put together of people to try to pick their next head coach, which I thought was ridiculous. And, they made him pick from that. But I do believe it's something where they wanted to fill it out these last couple months to see how him and Ben Johnson mesh together. And he's Ben Johnson's guy. Ben Johnson loves Ryan Poles. Ryan Poles loves Ben Johnson. But for me, the reason I have no problem with it, because to me, it puts accountability on Ryan Poles' head where you're lined up with your head coach. And if this fails, both of you guys are pretty much out of here. But the one thing that Ben Johnson has that Ryan Poles doesn't have, and let's just say worst case scenario, Caleb doesn't work out, which I don't see happening, but let's just say Caleb doesn't work out. At least Ben has he's not my QB card in his back pocket. Ryan Poles no longer has that. So if anything, I think it just pairs them up together, and that, there's no limbo about wondering. And that was one question coming into this offseason is, how long does Ryan Poles have? So I have no problem with it. Also wouldn't have had a problem with it if they didn't give him the extension. But I do understand why people want to know, because he hasn't won. It's been terrible these last couple years, to be completely honest. Last year was miserable. The year before that, I think 2023 was one of the worst years I've ever seen for the Bears. So I definitely understand the criticism, but more than anything, I think it's just Kevin Warren wanted his general manager and his head coach to be on the same timeline.
What is the biggest strength of this team heading into the season?
Oh, I think it's easily secondary, and that's even with Jalen Johnson's injury right now, which he's expected to be back week 1. Now, it would not surprise me if he's not ready for week 1, but Ben Johnson told us multiple times in the last couple of weeks that the expectation is that he will be ready. But even if he isn't, I think this is just a strength of the defense. You got Kyler Gordon, who I believe, if he stays healthy, is going to be all pro. He's been phenomenal in camp. He's been really good these last couple of years, and that's why he got this extension. I think Tyree Stevenson's going to he's going to bounce back. There's been some good rookies who've been battling for that second position. You can talk about battles with the offensive line with Kyron Amagaji and Braxton Jones. There's a legit battle for that cornerback spot number 2 as well. And I think Jaquan Brisker, obviously that's the biggest question mark of the secondary. Can he stay healthy? He knocked out somebody in the Rams game last year. I think it was like the week before we went to London. And we didn't see him all year because of the concussion protocol. And that's like his 3rd concussion since he's been drafted. But I think that if you look at the entire team, that's probably the strongest group, that even if they have a couple injuries, they're still going to be very, very productive. And I think this entire defense in general is going to be a lot better than people think, just because of Dennis Allen and his strategy and things like that, and the game plan he's putting together. Now, the offense has a lot of great weapons, but as a Bears fan, as a Bears media member, I've got to see it because I just haven't seen a Bears offense click. So I would definitely give it to the secondary, in my opinion. That's the strongest unit.
Dennis Allen is a head coach? No. Dennis Allen is a coordinator.
Very, very effective. Scott Lewis, 79th and Hallis is the podcast. Follow him on X at Barb, B-A-R-B, Chair Scott, Barb Chair Scott. Okay, downtown or Arlington Heights? And do Bears fans care?
I prefer. I would love for it to be downtown, but realistically, I would say Arlington Heights because Soldier Field is the oldest stadium in the league, and I feel just space wise, it's just not going to work downtown. There was a little spot that they could have got, but they got deboed by the Chicago Fire, who will be building their new soccer stadium over there. But I think the Arlington Heights would be better just because there's going to be more space. They can do things like build like a Bears town over there, I guess. After I lived in Los Angeles for like 10 years, and I saw the LA Live that they had over there for the Los Angeles Lakers at Staples Center, where they would have restaurants and bars and things in the entire area. And I think the Bears can do the same thing as well. You can do things like have a ring of honor for a lot of the Bears. The Bears have most Hall of Famers. They don't retire jerseys anymore. If you have space over there for like a Bears museum, you can honor some of these great players in the franchise. They just need bigger space, and then you can bring things like the Super Bowl. You can bring the Final Four, WrestleManias, the things like that, and you just don't have that space in the city right now. So I would say Arlington Heights, and I think at first fans didn't want it to leave the city, and I was one of them. I feel like you think Chicago Bears, you think the lakefront, you think downtown, but at this point, I don't think Bears fans care anymore. I think Bears fans just want the new stadium to be started on, and let's just get this thing moving. So I think it's more than anything, I would think there's impatience among the fan base that, you see teams like the Commanders already getting theirs approved. And I wouldn't say the Bears are a limbo. I think they're 98% sure there's going to be Arlington, and Kevin Warren keeps saying that the shovel is going to be in the ground this year. But I think Bears fans at this point are just like, let's just get it moving.
Minnesota at Detroit, home for Dallas. If they're 1-2 after those 3 games, what's the panic meter in Chicago going to be set at?
Oh, well, Bears fans panic with, just because the sky is blue. So I would definitely expect it to be high. Regardless, I think to me, my personal feeling is this is an 8-9, 9-18, and they can have a successful season even without actually making the playoffs. To me, as long as they're in the hunt, and I mean actually really in the hunt, not mathematically in it, but I mean like week 18, you have an actual chance to clinch a spot. That's a good season for me. But I think, they're 1-2. And this is a tough schedule. I don't think that's something that I would personally, unless the offense just looks terrible. And I really think there needs to be, how did they lose those 2 games if they're 1-2? I think that'd be the bigger question, or how the fan base would feel or not. But this is going to be something there's going to be no ramp up period for this season. Come out the gate. We can say whatever you want to say about the Vikings, rookie quarterback, whatever, but this is a team that we haven't beaten in a couple of years. This is a team that I don't think J.J. McCarthy's any good, but I'm going to give him the shadow, the benefit of the doubt because I like Kevin O'Connell, and I think that they're going to be ready for that. And week 2, automatically, you got Ben Johnson return to Detroit. They're going to be ready for that. And the Cowboys, they should beat the Cowboys, but, the Cowboys can still give you a game. So I think this is something where this offense, this team needs to be ready out the gate. It's not going to be a soft landing like it was last year. That's why I'm really interested to see how Ben Johnson is going to maneuver with preseason these next, these 3 games coming up.
Scott, as always, we appreciate you making time for us and your insights. Stay cool with the rest of camp. I'll see you for Monday Night Football in the opener. He's Scott Lewis, co-host of the 79th and Hallis podcast. You can follow him on X at Barb, B-A-R-B, Chair Scott. Barb Chair Scott. Scott, thanks so much.
No problem, guys. I'll talk to you later.
Scott Lewis joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
After those 3, they go 2 Vegas and 2 Washington, another team with 3 of their first 5 on the road. And the 2 home games, Minnesota and Dallas, are no picnic. We'll talk college hoop with Mike Miller next.
Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's, your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to nolanagency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or nolanagency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Canada, I got to admit, you're having a hell of a conversation with yourself.
I was going to say.
I mean, wow. I mean, we haven't. I mean, you're talking about crap that hasn't been talked about on this show for a month, but you do you. Oh, crap.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It has been a hell of a show thus far, and the roll continues with the bonus hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Mike Miller from the field of 68. He's in charge of their daily newsletter. Nobody covers college basketball better than the field of 68, and they do it every damn day, year round. Follow Mike on X at Mike Miller F68. Mike Miller F68. Mike, it's David and Mark. In all seriousness, did anybody take the news that we're staying at 68 better than the folks at the field of 68?
You know, that's been the running joke the last couple of years, is that, we've got to get the domain names for Field of 72, Field of 76, Field of 90. And I think there's a healthy contingent of people that would rather blow up the NCAA than expand. But yes, the people of the Field of 68 were delighted to not have to change anything about the NCAA tournament and how it's run and how many teams are in it.
And Mike, we are on your side. We did not want it expanded. But the question I have is, how didn't they expand it? The coaches all seem to want it. The NCAA, Greg Sankey seemed to want it. So who stopped this from happening? Because the momentum seemed overwhelming.
It appears that there's a couple things. And the biggest thing is practicality, is logistics. Expanding the tournament would mean expanding both tournaments, the men's and the women's tournaments. So there are significant logistics that go into adding 4 teams, 8 teams, whatever the number might be, right? You're adding more sites, you're adding more officials, you're adding more game officials, site helpers, concessions, all that kind of stuff. And they just ran up into it against time, where they're now so late in the year for decision making to expand or not, that they couldn't pull off the logistics to have that happen. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they're not getting any extra money for it. So if you're not able to execute an expanded tournament, you're not going to make money from it. There's really no reason to do it. And it sounds like the money part of it won't necessarily even come from the media rights deal, because both CBS and Warner Brothers have said, look, we don't need to give you any money. Our deal runs through 2032. So a lot of the expansion revenue would come from on-site sales of concessions, merchandising, et cetera, et cetera. So there was that. And part of me also thinks there was probably no appetite to deal with any of the public backlash that would come with it. My buddy and Field of 68 founder Rob Dobser put out a poll on Twitter/X a couple weeks ago asking if you were in favor of tournament expansion. And I don't know if you guys are aware of what the political climate is today, where people can't agree on anything. There were 95% of people on this poll of about 12,000 responses that said, no, we don't want tournament expansion. So, if there's one thing we can all agree on right now, apparently, it's that there shouldn't be tournament expansion.
And obviously, Mike, your focus is more on the men's side than the women's. But I will say, okay, the women's coaches have stood up and said, we don't really want this, because in women's basketball, there are virtually no mid-majors. And this would be part of the process that could eventually create mid-majors. And the power conference coaches, they don't want powerful mid-majors, and they want to keep the tournament at 68. Or 4.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly what you're seeing on the men's side for sure, right? Like when Greg Sankey or Brett Yormark talk about what expansion might be and what it might mean, they're advocating for their leagues. And, we live in a world where people want to ensure their interests are met. And if their interests are met and it doesn't harm their future interests, that yes, I can improve stuff for somebody else. So, yeah, I think it sounds like it'll happen eventually. At the earliest now will be 2027. And it also sounds, I think Matt Norlander from CBS reported that 72 is off the table. It's more likely 76, where they don't want to just do a little small expansion, that they would add 8 teams. So we'll see how that goes over the coaches, but everything else will adjust, right? They'll adjust, for the coaches, they'll adjust what it means for, any kind of bonuses. Is a tournament berth easier to obtain now? I don't know. Maybe. Is it easier to have players come to your school because that the opportunity to make a tournament is easier? I don't know. I think these are the things we don't fully know yet. Everybody will guess at, but we don't really know how it'll shake out.
All right. In the way too early season previews, I'm seeing a couple of teams that make me even more interested in college hoop this year being good. It looks like Arkansas has done a really good job of keeping their players, getting portal players, and a couple of nice recruits. And I've seen St. John's in some previews ranked in the top 5. I don't know. These two coaches doing well at the new schools seems good for college hoop to me. Am I right in predicting that they'll be good? And how good is that for college hoop?
It's great for college hoops, that's for sure. You'll see a lot of familiar faces have good teams this year. You mentioned Arkansas first. They struggled so much last year, and then made their Sweet 16 run where they upset Kansas and then St. John's. And Calipari's got a really nice mix of returning players with experience who are good. DJ Wagner is now going to be a junior when I think he thought he was going to be a one-and-done player. Their center, Trevon Brazil, is there, and he's a holdover from Musselman days. He's a big guy who can shoot it. They've got young guys who emerged last season that stayed in school another year. And they've got 2 impact freshmen because it's John Calipari, so he's certainly an impact freshman. And that's notable. St. John's, I'm actually less certain about. They'll be good. I don't know if they'll be as dominant as they were last year, because Pitino went out and got players who can shoot a little bit better from the outside and shoot a little bit better from the inside of the arc, but I don't know how their pieces work. Like, they don't have a point guard. They took the guy Ian Jackson from North Carolina, who isn't a point guard, and told him he's going to play point guard. But it reminds me of Moneyball, where he goes to Chris Pratt and he's like, "Hey, you're going to play you're going to play first base." And tell him it's easy. And he's like, "It's really hard. You can't do this." It's the same kind of thing where if you go into the Big East play and you've got a guy who either doesn't play point guard in Ian Jackson, or you've got an Idaho State transfer in Dylan Darling who played in the Big Sky and now is like, "Oh, this is what the Big East is like." It doesn't seem to work. Now, St. John's floor is going to be really high because they're going to be really good on defense again, but they're going to have the same issues creating offense as they did last year.
Mike Miller, the Field of 68. Follow him on X at Mike Miller F68. Mike Miller F68. Is Florida? I mean, listen, the official preseason rankings haven't come out yet, but the talk about the Gators is that they're definitely a top 10 team, maybe even top 5. Well, they lost their tremendous backcourt, didn't they? I mean, do the Gators really have it going on that well that they can win the Natty, lose their best players, and beat top 5?
I think there's a championship glow that hangs over them for sure. And that glow is somewhat earned because when you return your 4 returning front court players, 2 of whom are locks to be in the NBA draft and thrive, and that's Alk and Condon. I think there's a lot of goodwill that comes there. And Boogie Fland was tremendous last year for Arkansas. I don't think he's Walter Clayton, but he'll be terrific. Who I'm less clear on is what their depth looks like at the guard spot. And if Davian Lee, their Princeton transfer, can handle SEC athletes. Now he's a really good player. Don't get me wrong. He's tremendous. He's played well against high major teams. I just think over the grind of the season, I'll be interested to see how he holds up. And we'll be interested to see, what it looks like when they go really big, seemingly all year long. One of Florida's strengths was they played 3 guards and 2 bigs last year and just rotated in their bigs all the time. And now it seems like they're going to try to play Halk at the 3 quite a lot, or even potentially Condon at the 3. That's going to be good for them. I don't know if it'll be as good for the Gators, but I think if there's anything we really learned from last year is that Todd Golden is probably smarter than the rest of us and has probably figured this out to a degree.
Mike Miller and the Field of 68. Nobody covers college basketball better. Okay. He is responsible for their daily newsletter. Follow Mike on X at Mike Miller F68. Mike Miller F68. Enjoy the rest of your summer. We'll talk when the preseason starts. Okay.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Mike Miller, kind enough to join us once again here on Miller and Moulton. Mike and all our guests, Chris Perkins, Brett Ciancia, and Scott Lewis, joining us on the American Paint Supplies Hotline, your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
So there's a little college basketball slight preview, more about the field staying at 68, that I don't know anybody that wanted expansion of this field, certainly among fans. We said Seth Davis seems to be the only media member that wants it, and there were a lot of coaches and Greg Sankey, and that was the big key. Sankey wanted it, and there's not too many things that Greg Sankey's wanted that he's not been able to get, and he didn't get this. So at least for now, a good day for college hoops, in my estimation.
I will say the most interesting takeaway for me out of Mike Miller's analysis, Mike saying that CBS/Turner, and I know that, it's not Turner anymore, that they are not going to throw any more money into the pie to go from 68 to 76. Well, first off, this is going to be highly sought after programming if it reaches the streets in 2032, but that creates an opening for somebody to throw more and more money and say, we'll do it. We'll throw it. This is our offer for 68. Oh, you guys have gone to 76? Well, then this is what this is worth to us.
And would the NCAA ever split part of it and just sell the play-in games, if you will, to a streaming service or some other service that's out there? Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Got a cracked window or foggy glass? Don't wait for the next storm to make it worse. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business is just down the road and ready to help. From leaky frames to shattered panes, we've got the tools and the know-how to get your home or business storm ready. With flexible scheduling and our done right promise, you'll be in good hands. So before or after the weather hits, call your neighbors at Glass Doctor.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor. We fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Whether you're chasing peak performance, reigniting intimacy, or simply want to feel your best, Game Day Men's Health creates customized game plans to optimize your health. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs and Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for 10% off your service. Find your maximum self with Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs and Naples, Florida. Call 239-427-3441 today.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I got something here if you don't.
Okay.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
What a lively show today. Chris Perkins talking Dolphins. Brett Ciancia talking college football. The coaches poll came out yesterday. Texas #1 for the first time ever. Scott Lewis talking Bears. Mike Miller talking college hoops. The tourney stays at 68, even if it's only for one more year. We shall see how that plays out. All our guests joining us on the American Paint Supplies hotline. And if you miss any of our guests, well, you can listen to what you missed at millerandmoulton.com.
So did you see the story out of Alaska that involves the Seattle Kraken?
Literally an hour ago, I saw a headline and a picture.
Well, the Kraken do a trip to Alaska every year for their annual community engagement partnership with the Bristol Bay Native Corporation. It's a Kraken week at the Anchorage Hockey Academy's youth hockey camp. And then they take some kids fishing, and they get to go fly fishing with one of the Kraken players, and the Kraken mascot made the trek as well.
Oh, cool.
The Kraken mascot nearly didn't make it back from the trip.
Excuse me?
Because as they were fishing, and you can see the video, go look for it. It's out there. It's easily available. As they are fishing, the guide and the Kraken player point out that there's a brown bear fairly near where they're fishing. And you hear the guide say, we need to move a little bit. And they start moving down the river, and the bear starts moving towards them. And then the bear starts, quite frankly, charging at them.
Whoa!
And it looks as if the bear is most interested in the mascot. And the mascot is wearing waders. The mascot's in the water. And the Kraken mascot, Bowie, is now running because the bear's getting reasonably close to those fishing. Now, no one was harmed. Nothing happened. But as John Hayden, a forward for the team, said, he goes, I want to blame it on Bowie. They were pretty interested in his whole look. We got out okay, but it was a close call. Now, I've never been to Alaska, but I have fished in rivers where there is wildlife. I've never seen a bear while fishing. That would scare the bejibbers out of me.
Oh, absolutely. You mean
you're in their territory?
Totally.
You know, they fish with their paws. And this just in, they're really good at it.
Yes, they are.
And the bear, the bear makes a decent run at them. I mean, he's not all of a sudden, from the initial look, it looks like he's about 75 yards away. By the end of it, he looked a lot closer, where I'm like, holy crap, that's a bear right there.
Right. And if the bear's going all bear, you're in trouble.
You got that right.
Damn. By the way, do you know how far Seattle to Anchorage is?
Probably every bit of a 4-hour flight. At least.
I would have to think so because it's over 2,200 miles. To give you an idea, Seattle to Anchorage. So, I'm just mentioning it because here's the Kraken trying to expand their fan base. And, obviously they're in the Pacific Northwest and they're trying to lure in a few fans from Alaska and what have you. And, great. Applaud them for it. But it's over 2,200 miles.
3.5 hour flight.
It's the same distance as Seattle to Memphis. I mean, that's an excursion. I'll tell you what, you got to get a rookie. You can't get a veteran to agree to go on that trip. You got to hit one of the rookies, don't you?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I will say, all right, go spend a little time doing this youth camp. You can go fly fishing on us in Alaska. I would think there might be a few players that would jump at that. We may have to reach out to Forsland and see if John is now off the trip permanently or if he was ever invited on the trip to Alaska where the Bears may be in play. And I know John spends his summers in Maine, so he probably sees his share of Bears up there as well. But I thought I'm like, wow, that Bear's running after the mascot. What do you do? Do you dump the head and keep running and pray to God the bear just goes over to the mascot head?
Yeah. I mean, either that or what? Play dead? I would get rid of the head first and throw it and hope that he's, fascinated by it. And if he can just stop for a little bit, I'm taking off the rest of the outfit too. But yeah, that's a problem. That is a problem.
You are right, David. Grizzly bears or brown bears, it is generally recommended to play dead. Black bears, which we have in Florida, you try to make yourself big, and they actually say to not play dead with the black bear. That's what we encounter in Florida more than not. Gotcha. So there you go. Bears and how to react here on Miller and Moulton. Because when you're looking for advice to fend off a bear, I'm guessing the first two people you think of are Miller and Moulton.
No doubt about it.
Highly outdoorsy guys. And by outdoorsy, David rolls his window down at the drive-thru.
Yes. Absolutely. And sometimes I actually go into the bank. Right.
You prefer going into the bank than going through the drive-thru, don't you?
Lately, I've just been doing the drive-thru. I'm changing. I'm not going into the bank. I do like my ladies at the bank, though. Sometimes I just need to talk to them, need to say hi, take inventory, catch up. How did the summer trip go? That sort of deal. Me and the ladies, sometimes we just need to reconnect.
You are something. Post office and banks.
Yeah, I'm a people person. I really am.
Always have been.
We got an answer to our poll question, okay, in which, one guy is like, yeah, I like it. The oysters, I like it with my special sauce and, and then the spicy cocktail sauce. And I like it with this and I like it with that. And so I answered him back and I said, so basically you want it so that you don't have to taste the oyster.
I mean, some people like to put a little cocktail sauce with horseradish. I like the Meunier a little bit better. You taste more oyster, but sometimes just nice fresh oyster, just a little lemon.
I'm sorry, what was that thing you said?
Meunier. It's just a vinegar-based sauce that people serve with oysters, David.
I had never heard it before, so
Well, I don't see. I mean, I couldn't even imagine you at an oyster. I mean, you'd be like, where are the French fries?
Totally.
Can I get a burger? Leave me alone with the damn oysters.
Yeah, somebody walking around with a tray of oysters, and I'd be like, wow, that was rude. Somebody to blow their nose all over that plate.
Way back when I was very young and first visiting Florida, and I started coming to Southwest Florida when I was about 6 years old. My grandparents had a place, and my grandfather used to take us to a place in Naples, and it was 10-cent oysters during happy hour. Now you're hard-pressed to get an oyster for under $2 an oyster. Like $2 at happy hour would be a cheap oyster these days. It's National Oyster Day. I've been searching during the break of where I'm going for oysters this afternoon with my daughter and then meet the wife. Love oysters.
I do not. And both those answers are readily available in our poll question. So the only sports news we have so far this morning is apparently Teddy Bridgewater is going to back up Baker Mayfield.
That's the way it looks.
Not Jared Goff.
Right. Teddy
Wow.
Bridgewater at Bucks practice. It came out early or late last night that he was resigning from his job at Miami Northwestern. He's going to get suspended anyhow. So he is going to return to the NFL, and he is at Tampa Bay Buccaneers camp today at practice.
I like your idea, though. He goes back to the NFL and he sets up like a big NIL, if you will. Okay?
Yeah.
The Buccaneers just all the money that Teddy took off of his hip for food and Uber rides and what have you. Okay. He just makes the Bucks do it now.
Be tough for the Bucks not to do that for a team in Tampa as well. Could benefit all the high schools. Who knows? Miller and Moulton. For over 50 years, the Nolan family has been dedicated to protecting local families. Nolan Family Insurance is a second-generation independent agency that specializes in home, flood, auto, and boat insurance. They take the time needed to explain your coverage options and answer your questions so you can make an informed decision that's right for you. If you're looking for an agency that treats you like family, call 941-639-1122 or go to NolanAgency.com. That's 941-639-1122 or NolanAgency.com.
With summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from that fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Shoeless Joe Sports Cafe is where your fantasy football draft should be. Free private rooms, Wi-Fi, plus food and drink specials. In August, Shoeless has bingo and trivia Tuesdays and Thursdays with your chance to win free wings and beer for a year. Fridays, live music on the deck. Saturdays, karaoke on the deck. Plus daily meal specials like Wednesdays, $6 wings and half-price pizza. Watch all your baseball and football at Shoeless Joe's. Your home for good food, good times, and good sports in the Bell Tower Shops, Fort Myers.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I've figured out another thing that I'm a food snob on, David.
What's that?
Oysters.
Okay.
Because people are telling you, go to Pinchers. You couldn't pay me to go to Pinchers or Rusty's or any of those places that are serving Louisiana or Florida or wherever I need to know where the oyster's coming from. I need to know it's coming from up north and it's cold. That's in Fort Myers, it's either Coldwater or Blue Point, both great spots, but probably meeting the wife after work. So probably will be Naples. And I'm looking a little hoity tonight. I'm hearing Del Mar has $2 oysters on 5th. So might be hooping it up down on 5th tonight. You want to meet us, David? 5th Avenue in Naples?
Wow, I just had my throat tighten, okay, and my one hand start to shake, and I'm 375 miles away.
If I promised you a cookie from the Ritz,
Well,
those manhole covers.
Oh my God, those cookies were amazing. Remember when we looked right at Greg Norman and said, "We only come here for the cookies"?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. If it wasn't for the cookies, we would not get up early and come to this shindig.
But I will give you credit. It was reading that book, and was it Jeff Ogilvy?
Yeah, commissioner.
That they said would, or president or something like that. Was it commissioner of the league or was it?
No, president. You're right.
It was president. And it was the two leading vote getters were Jeff Ogilvy and Norman. And I remember you said that to him, and he's like, and so would you want to be president? And Norman's like, no, but what I'd want to be is the director of intelligence. That's the guy who knows everything. And this is right after Clinton was at his house and fell down the steps.
Right.
And we're like, okay.
But I thought it was interesting that the guys that got the most votes on the PGA Tour at the time were two Australians.
Right. But was it the Ogilvy that was the Australian? Because there's two Ogilvys,
No, Jeff Ogilvy's Australian.
Okay, but wasn't there two Ogilvys that played on tour? Was there
yes.
I don't know if it was
the other one Ben?
I thought it was Greg, but I could be wrong, David.
I don't know. For August 5th, I thought that was a pretty good show.
I circled two segments to do best ofs with. We could run the pick six guy, and we could definitely run the baby crawl.
It's the first time I've ever been called a Karen in my life.
I don't know if we've ever had that many rapid fire texts come into the show before. Like we've had more text over the course of a show when we've got a little theme going. But for 10 minutes, that thing exploded.
I really upset some people.
Well, they were funny though. The Danny Almonte. I mean, there was some great comments in there.
I'll tell you what.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes until the top of the hour. So we're out of here. We're done. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. It's National Oyster Day. So we ask, how do you like your oysters? Over half of you are like, I don't like oysters. I'm with you. I got your back.
What are you talking about? A little less than half.
Okay.
The oysters are, which I thought they would lose. I thought 2/3 of the people listening would say they hate oysters. I'm impressed that 54% of you are oyster fans. That makes me happy. I thought this would be a Moulton win today.
I haven't voted correctly on a poll question since the Biden administration. Obviously, I mean, seriously, I am so out of touch with our audience. And I was called a Karen today.
Well, by me.
Oh, not just you. Oh, no. They came out of the woodwork calling me a Karen today.
Did you get any personal texts calling you a Karen?
I got one buddy who texted me and went, dude, you've got a problem. and he said, and they're not that far off, Karen. I'm like, come on now. It's a crawl race. The baby gets up in the middle of it and starts walking. Awesome moment, historic even, but it's a crawl race. You can't walk in a crawl race. You can't run in a walk race. You can't walk in a wheelchair race. I mean, come on now. These seem like simple rules. No?
Look at you now being the law and abiding citizen, wanting the rules to go letter to the law.
No, I don't want to. I'm fine with the kid winning the contest. It just seems as if this was not, the kind of what we designed. That's all. Listen, okay? If you say I'm getting close to you have to sign the scorecard in the designated area, I'll stop right now. I'll never question anything again because that's the dumbest rule ever.
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Today was the day when, brought to you by Game Day Men's Health, Bonita Springs in Naples. If you're a guy and you're feeling a little bit too much like a Karen, maybe you should check out Game Day Men's Health. GameDayMen'sHealth.com, Bonita Springs in Naples, 427-3441. That, of course, is 239-427-3441. Mention Miller and Moulton for 10% off. Today in 1861, President Lincoln imposes the first federal income tax by signing the Revenue Act, strapped for cash, in which to pursue the Civil War. Lincoln and Congress agreed to impose a 3% tax on annual incomes over $800.
Hold on a second. So we have Lincoln to blame for this, okay? And he's considered the greatest president of all time? Wow. Okay, he did save the country. Okay, so that's a biggie. Okay, and in theory, he raised the taxes to save the country. So, all right. I mean, I guess we'll cut him some slack.
1884, the cornerstone for the Statue of Liberty is laid in New York City. Well, on the island there, and David will say it's Jersey, and I'm not in the mood. 1921, KDKA presents the first radio broadcast of Major League Baseball as the Pirates beat the Phillies 8-0. Harold Arlen, the first play-by-play broadcaster. Jesse Owens does it again today in 36, wins the 200 in a world record time, his third goal of the Berlin Games. From Here to Eternity, the movie credited for saving Sinatra's career. Released today in 1953, it would win the Academy Awards Best Picture in 54. American Bandstand premiered on network TV today in 1957 on ABC. Today in 1966, the Beatles released the Revolver album. My favorite. Might not be their best. My favorite. 1973, Phil Niekro no-hits the Padres, achieving the first no-hitter in franchise history for the Atlanta Braves. The Rolling Stones' Miss You hits #1 in America, knocking off Andy Gibbs' Shadow Dancing from a 7-week run at the top.
Okay, I want everybody to go find Andy Gibbs' Shadow Dancing. And as you're listening to it, realize that for 7 weeks,
Right.
almost 2 full months.
Right, July, all of July, part of June, all of July, and into August.
That was the #1 song in America. And you decide how much drugs we were doing as a nation.
You could argue that that was probably the song of the summer. This has basically been a summer, by the way, that hasn't had a song of the summer. Today in 79, David Graham wins on the third playoff hole at Oakland Hills against Ben Crenshaw to win the PGA. Ronald Reagan fires 11,500 striking air traffic controllers today in 1981.
He gave them a warning.
Not like they didn't know it was coming.
Right. I mean, and they answered back and said, well, who's going to keep the planes in the air? Okay. And the next day, Reagan fired them anyway and basically said, we'll figure it out.
Today in 83, the big break for Tom Cruise. Risky Business debuted today. Today in 86, Steve Carlton becomes the second player to reach 4,000 strikeouts, striking out Eric Davis. Mark McGwire gets to 500 today in 1999. Tom Glavine gets to 300 today in 2007.
As a Met.
And A-Rod was banned for 211 games due to the biogenesis scandal today in 2013.
By the way, what year was that? 08 for Glavine?
07.
07. Okay. We haven't had a 300-game winner since, have we?
I don't believe we have.
I mean, Mussina, Sabathia, and Verlander's going to come up short. I mean, we're almost 20 years, and there's no one on the horizon. I mean, is Tom Glavine going to be the last?
And finally, in 2016, the Olympic Games in Rio opened. Neil Armstrong, Herb Brooks, Lonnie Anderson, who just passed, Rick Derringer, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, and Adam Yonk from the Beastie Boys all would have celebrated birthdays today. Maureen McCormick, Marsha, and Dave Rosema are both 69. Patrick Ewing is 63. Carl Crawford, 44. Patrick Reed is 35. And the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, is 24 years old today. What did I miss, David?
Marilyn Monroe, found dead today in 62. Marilyn Monroe. They wrote a few songs about that.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go near your neck of the woods today, David. We go to St. Augustine for the good, where body camera footage of a deputy using his bare hands to capture an alligator in a swimming pool in a resident's backyard. The body camera footage shows the deputy try to capture it with the net. Enough of that. Threw the net down. Then goes to grab the gator with his bare hands behind the head of the gator. Grabs it on the neck. Then dropped the gator on the cement, grabbed it again, picked it up. It was about 2.5, 3 foot long, so it wasn't a monster gator. It was an alligator, by the way. He carries it from the backyard around to the patrol car, puts it in the patrol car, buckles the alligator up, and takes it to a pond without any residents. For the bad, we go to Denmark, where a Denmark zoo needs donations. They have animals that, need to be fed. So the zoo is asking for donations of small pets for food for its predators. The zoo points to guinea pigs, rabbits, and chickens as possible donations. After being euthanized, they will be used for food. Okay. And finally, the ugly. We go to Dorchester, outside of Boston, where a CVS pharmacy was robbed by Omelia Medina. She was armed and stole several boxes of ice cream from a CVS pharmacy, answering the ultimate question, what would you do for a Klondike bar? That is the good, the bad, and the ugly on today, August the 5th, here on Miller and Moulton.
That was a nice little jingle. Okay. That worked.
Oh, yeah. Klondike bar, underrated, overrated, rated correctly.
I'm curious how it's rated.
Well, in the ice cream bar world, outside of an ice cream sandwich, is there any bar more popular than a Klondike? So I would think it would be rated highly. I love a Klondike bar, but I love anything ice cream.
I think it's pretty good for whatever that's worth. you got baseball, and everybody's back in action today. You actually had 4 teams sitting out yesterday. Marlins, second game of their series, hosting the Astros. The Rays are back in Los Angeles taking on the Angels. They're 4 under 500 now. They need to start winning. They got 5 teams between them and the playoffs, 5.5 games separating them from the playoffs. They got to get going. When do you bet against the Red Sox? How many have they won in a row now?
Are they at
All right.
7?
They've won 6 in a row, 8 of 9.
Okay.
You know, when do you bet against the Brewers, who have won 7 of 8 and are playing 700 baseball over the last 2.5 months? Just curious. 8 o'clock tonight, TBS. This is an interesting series, Reds and Cubs. Reds pulled one out last night, 3-2. All right, just saying.
And the slumping Yankees taking on the Rangers. Eovaldi on the mound for the Rangers gives them an edge, obviously, in that department. Yankees are getting desperate for a W, David.
I'll say it again. The Yankees are 25 and 33 over their last 58 games. That's 2 full months of baseball. And they're 8 games below 500. That's more than a slump. That's a trend that maybe we're not that good. Judge is back for the Yankees tonight, however. They went 4-6 in his absence. WNBA tonight, there's 5 games. I will say, just showing the, quote unquote star power. NBA TV is televising the Dallas at New York Liberty game because it's Paige Beckers for the Dallas Wings. And so they're going to televise that game because, it's Beckers and Ionescu on the floor at the same time. Brianna Stewart would have been, but she got hurt. Okay, and CBS Sports Network tonight is the Indiana Fever at 10 o'clock. No sign of Caitlin Clark. Fever have got it going on, though. They're 5 games above 500 now. Okay, they're looking for their 4th straight road win.
So that's what we have from a sports standpoint tonight. Obviously, NFL training camps, full swing. We'll see, hopefully, if Teddy Bridgewater indeed signs with Tampa today. If I'm Detroit, I'm kind of freaking out about that, but they might not be. I just don't know how you go into the season with Hendon Hooker as your backup. For the life of me. You're trying to win a division. You're trying to make a deep playoff run. Hendon Hooker's not the answer.
Packers cornerback Nate Hobbs, all right, out for the rest of camp. They think he'll be ready for the season opener against the Lions, but he's out for the rest of camp. Hurt knee, had to have surgery, was expected to be a starter.
So,
Mark,
you've said it many times. The only thing you need to worry about in training camp are the injuries. We had Chris Perkins on today and talked to Chris. The 2 areas that the Miami Dolphins could not afford preseason injuries, the offensive line and the defensive secondary. They've had injuries to both already. Miller and Moulton, Seth Everett will join us on the show tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com. Southwest Florida's scorching heat is on its way. Stay cool with Air Advantage. As a proud Rheem Pro partner, Air Advantage delivers top-notch air conditioning solutions to keep you cool and comfortable. Right now, enjoy 18 months, no interest, no payments on qualifying systems. Call 433-4635 today for expert installation and unbeatable comfort all summer long. Online at myairadvantage.com. Air Advantage. Call today, 433-4635.
Defining a new era in men's health. Get stronger and healthier at Game Day Men's Health. With our in-house laboratory, get in, get treated, and get back to your passion and purpose. Call 239-427-3441 for our Bonita Springs or Naples location to set up your free testosterone test and consultation. Mention Miller Moulton Radio Show for a 10% discount on your service. Start living your best with Game Day Men's Health. Bonita Springs, and Naples. Call 239-427-3441 today.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Summer approaching, time to take care of your own house. So stop into the Floor Meisters and see their huge in-stock selection of carpet. The Floor Meisters has 100 rolls to choose from, starting at $2.99 a square foot for carpet, pad, and installation. Come in and ask for Dave and have him show you the Dream Weaver Select. Many styles and colors to choose from to fit everyone's taste. Floor Meisters, 6281 Naples Boulevard in Naples, right next to Costco, or go to the web, floormeisters.com.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind. Right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.